Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You're listening to the What It Do podcast. Do a little bit of editing, but I'm gonna play a little song. It's gonna be real quick.
Okay.
I am going to have to do some editing. God damn it.
We love it.
Oh, fuck. Here we go, man. That's a nice little intro.
There you go.
Welcome back to another episode of the What It Do podcast.
Yeah.
Today in the studio, Mr. Sergio Cardenas, the CARFATHER.
What up? What up?
CARFATHER, DJ CURREN-C. What else?
Man of all trades, huh?
Yes, sir.
Soon to get into real estate. Fucking next thing you know, he's going to be building a tower of his own. Cardenas Tower.
Damn.
Shit. I guess gold. It's got to be gold, right? Well, platinum. Fuck, there you go. Some platinum.
That's how I think all the Trump towers have gold. His
Yep.
Ain't nothing wrong with
gold.
silver. I'd be cool with silver.
Fuck it. We're gonna take it anywhere we can get it right. Shit, man.
Welcome.
Welcome and shit. How are you today?
Man, I'm great. Like I was saying, today was a very powerhouse day. It felt good. Sold 5 cars, turned it around, and I was on the verge of insanity about a week ago. But that's the car business. It has its highs and its lows.
Oh man, so I'm sure it's fucking nerve wracking when you those low weeks. But man, I mean, you sell a bunch of cars, so you do pretty good with that.
Yes, and I told my assistant, let's just keep prevailing, keep pushing, and I gotta say, what I think has turned it around was definitely the mindset. I just said fall back to your roots, and it starts with belief. If you have limited beliefs, you're gonna get what you think. You become what you hum, and if you just keep pushing and pushing and believe in what you're doing and map it out and be consistent. That's what it was about.
Do you still read a lot?
I do, man. There's a book that I've dove into, and it's an old school classic book. It's Think Rich and
Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill. There's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. There's a very powerful book, and I was about halfway through it, and I found out a woman was the author. Nothing against women, but I just did not know that Chin Nan Chu is a woman author. And it's Thick Face, Black Heart, and it's about warrior philosophy in the business world. And that was very, very powerful. And that book actually changed my life. What was that movie we watched when we were kids with the dog that flies? And
The Never Ending Story.
Thank you.
Oh,
The Never
yeah.
Ending. You know how he's reading the book and stuff starts happening in his life? That's how I felt about that book when I was reading it. It was talking about a career, and I was reading it, and then I got promoted a week later, and I remember I told Paul Hatcher, he was at the Dodge store at the time, he was the GM. He's like, I need you to be the finance manager. And I was like, wow, the book was talking about, if you do this, you can excel. And then I get promoted. And then
Some weird manifestation.
and then it was talking about family and love. And then I remember at that time, me and my wife, we took off on a vacation, and it was the best vacation ever. And next thing I know, boom, she's having a baby. And and the book, it was I just kept reading it, and everything kept happening to me that was in the book. And it was,
I might have to check it out, man.
Yeah.
I don't do much reading at all. So
Thick Face, Black Heart. Thick Face, Black Heart. That's awesome.
Audible. You can do Audible.
Oh yeah, I'll have to do Audible. I can't fucking. I don't know. For some reason, I guess I got a problem. Right? I'm sitting there reading, and I read past a paragraph, and I'm like, "What the fuck did I just read?"
It's hard for you to comprehend it.
Yeah, sometimes I've done that before, and I go back and reread it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
But I guess because I can't stop. I can't clear my brain and be like, "Yo, all right, now you
Think about what you just read.
Think about what you just read." Because I'm sitting there thinking I'm thinking of something else,
That's a problem.
and I can't. I wish I could.
You're
clear
not
my head.
focused on this thing. You've got 3 other things going on while you're trying to read a book, too.
Yeah. So it's kind of hard, but man, fuck it.
Do you guys do a lot of audibles?
I don't.
I do.
I do a lot of podcasts.
I do sometimes.
Do you? I think audibles are very powerful. Let me tell you why. So in the morning, most of the time, I like to listen to some hype music. Little John, something. Let's get him walk around the club. Get hype, get ready for the day. System of a Down, maybe. I don't know. It just depends on the mood. But when I get in the car, I listen to Eric Thomas, because even though I'm listening to that craziness, getting in the shower, shaving, and all that, but once I get in the car, I listen to Eric Thomas, and it's a motivational speaker. and I'm listening to him, trying to clear my head, getting to work, ready to take on the day. Because there's people that are going to try to break your day, mess your day up, whatever. And Eric Thomas is just right on point. You know, he talks about grinding. You know, he's like, give it 120%. You know, and there's times I'm like, God dang, I don't feel like 80%. You know what I mean? And when he starts talking about energy, I'm like, sometimes I feel like a AA battery. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't feel like grinding today. But, you know, he's like, some of y'all got the energy of a car battery. He goes, what I'm trying to get you to is I'm trying to get you to be just powerful, where you're like, you know, you could charge up a building, you could charge up a house. He goes, but it's your energy. And I listen to that, and by the time I get to work, I'm just ready to take on the day, which, you know, the audibles, you know, they're pretty powerful.
Okay.
Man. They can set the tone.
You ever heard Jim Rohn? That dude right
Powerful.
there. Man,
Motivational
big time.
speaker.
Yeah, big time. He's like from, like, I don't know how, maybe the 80s? I don't know where he's definitely older, but man, that shit.
Yeah, he's like from the Zig Ziglar era.
Yes,
Zig Ziglar,
yeah, Zig Ziglar.
You know?
Damn, I've got to try to find some fucking motivation here, because I'm like, dude, okay, here's my thing, man. I never understood the need. Okay, I'm talking about like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I never understood the need for motivational shit, because I was tip top grinding, you name it.
You were
I
your
was
motivation.
I was my motivation.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, and this was my train of thought. You know, I'm like, dude, those people are slowing you down because they're giving you their side, or they're trying to put their mentality to you. You know, and you're trying to absorb that. And like, I want to get to that level, but I'm like, to me, it was always a hindrance.
Yeah.
I felt. And then 5 years passed. You know, for like 5 years ago, there was a switch, and I don't know what it was, you know, that all of a sudden the motivation dwindled. Yeah. Everything just went down, you know, and I'm just like, I hear people talk about, like, do you read books? Do you just do that? Have you listened to this guy? And I'm just like, man, dude, is there something that I'm missing out on? Yeah. You know, maybe Oscar needs to get his groove back, you know? And I've been trying to find it, man. And there's a little bit of motivation, a little bit of jealousy when I hear people, hey, man, I go to the gym all the time, right? Or not all the time, but I go every day, at least I try to spend my 30 minutes and stuff like that. And they're like, it's a relaxing thing. You know, I'm like, dude, I've been to the gym, not a lot, but enough to where I've never found that bump, you know? Yeah. Where I'm here, I'm like, what am I doing here? I could be doing something else, you know?
I can explain that part to you, and I'm sure Sergio can too, but you get into this state in your mind where it is relaxing, because it's like
it's a release.
It's a release,
yeah.
But you just like, you got the music going.
It's clearing
you're hitting the weights, and you're just like
in a zone.
You're in a zone.
Yeah,
that's what it is. You're in this zone, and it's just, man, it is. It's like meditative.
Yeah, but I think you have to kind of get there, right? Like
you got to work to it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, you're ready for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's something. Because to me, that whole part was always like, I'm wasting time here.
Yeah,
at the gym.
You're shutting it down before it even happens.
Well, it's not even shutting it down, because I literally had other shit to do.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm like, now I think that I'm in a different mindset now. Mm-hmm. I'm in the different mindset. It was like, dude, I got to take care of myself. I got to do this. You got some extra time, you know, now you got some shit that you need to take care of. And now I'm just like, okay, where do I start?
No. And there's nothing wrong with that. For me, I went from MySpace to my chart. Okay, like I went from posting selfies and pictures and, you know, being able to do all kinds of stuff, party for 3 days, and hey, I'm good, to now if I stay up past midnight, I'm hurting for 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, we're just not built the same.
Yeah.
But let something trigger you. You know, for me,
that's what I'm looking for.
Something had to trigger my mindset. You know, it used to be about, I want to be good, I want to look right in my birthday suit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're past that. Okay. There's more restaurants now. I love food. You know what I mean? But for me, it is longevity. You know, my daughter's 15. I want to be here for, you know, if there's grandchildren, I want to be here longer. You know, I saw my parents, you know, when they passed, I saw their health deteriorate. Mm-hmm. And I remember I saw my dad's energy, and I just said, man, I remember when my dad was in his 40s. You know, I'd be like, hey, Dad, let's go to the movies. Let's go do this. And he really didn't want, I just got off work. I just want to chill.
That's where I'm at.
And I just said, you know what? There's got to be something to push you. For me, my motivation is my daughter. Like, It really is. It's not social media. It's not the pictures, the selfies. Hell, there's filters for that. I think I saw the other day there's a filter you can download, give you a 6-pack. I was like, okay, quit playing. Let's go. But, you know, it's crazy. There's so much stuff out there now that can alter the way someone looks. You know, there's the little padding for the heels. Like women like tall guys and the guy's like a foot taller. And I'm like, the hell, he's a basketball player?
Yeah.
Amazon brought him a box and now he play basketball. You know.
That's funny.
But, you know, you just got to find what's gonna trigger you and make you want to do it, where nothing else matters. And for me, it's my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, that was my motivation. And the reason I say that is because she's damn near in that dating era. You know, she's like, Dad, I want you to meet Aaron.
How old is your daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
15.
Oh, shit, I know that age.
Remember that?
And I'm like,
I know that age.
hell's Aaron?
Yeah.
But I got to meet him for it. You know what I mean? But then I'm like, I do want to meet him. But, you know, but I also want to look right to Aaron, because I remember when I was younger, many, many moons ago, and I remember when I was out there, I used to tell my homeboy, hey, man, I saw the dad. He can't catch me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he ain't going to catch me. He can't stop me. And I don't want to look like that dad. So like I said, there's that motivation, that trigger. I don't want to scare her friends, but I just want to make sure that I don't look easy. And you know what? I actually got to meet her friend about 4 or 5 days ago, and he told my daughter, yeah, your dad looks, he looks pretty intimidating. And I was just like, and I wasn't doing nothing. I was just sitting in the truck, and I said, what's up? And I actually called him a different name, but I did that on purpose. I did it to throw it off. Yeah. I want to throw him off because I know he was going to say, yes, sir, shake my hand, and kind of tell me everything I wanted to hear. Yeah. And I said, let me just start off right off the bat. Hey, what's up, Bill? And he was just like, just threw him off. And I said, let's
the way to do it right there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, man. Just gotta find your,
Oh man, I feel like I maybe in a slump. I'm in my slump era, I guess.
Something's gotta fire you up.
Yeah, so you're right. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the whole fire up, because right now, dude, I guess compared to like 5-6 years ago, dude, I'm kind of cruising about 30-40%. When 5-6 years ago, I was at 90-95%. I wasn't 100% because I still had time to do other shit.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, just in this fucking. I wonder if that.
You're comfortable right now.
Yeah, dude, that's the problem.
Yeah. It's like when I called you earlier. I'm like, where you at, bro?
Chilling at home.
At the house.
Watching Alien Romulus.
I'm like, bro, I've been going since fucking 5 a.m., man. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
no, man.
I'll be out there around 9:30, bro.
Because right now, I'm at a point where I'm just like, I'm ready to just fucking, what do they call that, man? Where's the moment I just want to fucking flip my desk. I'm like, boom, I just fucking overturned everything. Now to start brand new.
Yeah.
You know, because I did. Right?
Maybe you got to shake some shit up, man. Get out of your that fucking comfort zone. We've talked about the comfort zone before. Dude. That motherfucker is a goddamn killer, bro.
It is.
And it's a problem, bro, because I'm like, right now, I'm in my comfort zone. I probably work, let's be honest, right? I probably work about 2 hours worth a day. Yeah. Right? I make damn good money.
You put in more drive time than anything.
Oh, yeah, I put in a lot of drive time. But look, today I was home by 12:30. You know, and I left the house at fucking 9 o'clock.
And there I am in the sun.
Well, so you're honestly set up to do as much as
exactly.
You want to do.
But man, I sit there and I'm like, I don't know what I do. I go to this fucking
instead of watching Alien Romulus, I could have put an hour in at the gym.
Stop.
You could have watched Alien Romulus while you're putting the hour in.
Just
at the
start
gym.
off small.
Crunch has fucking HBO or Hulu.
Well, wait, don't those like
treadmills?
the treadmills and the steppers and all that shit, don't they have like a little deal where you can put your pad up there, put your headphones in, and just fucking do a couple of miles while you're there? Right? They have that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can get on a bike too.
I haven't been there long enough to figure that out.
My god.
Put an iPad on the fucking back. Let's get going. That's just that, man, because it's kind of cool. You know, I sit there and watch you, and I'm like, man, he's fucking getting it. You know, putting a Facebook post, you know, the cars, all that shit, which is great. You know what I mean? I'm not a material guy, but still, people are busy, you know? And I feel like, damn, man, where are you? Like, I'm at a point where I'm lost. You know what I mean? Good. Where I'm just like, dude, I trust. I make good money. Yeah. But that has afforded me a comfort that's not good for me.
Well, then all I'm hearing right now is that Abraham is fixing to be your partner, and he's going to take you. Because sometimes you want to partner up.
We've had this conversation.
Sometimes you want to partner up.
He wants to fight over it.
Because I've been there. I've been there, bro. Listen, I've tried to get people. I actually have a gym in my house, and when people come over my house, sometimes I show it to them. I'm kind of proud of it. I've spent some money on it. I have
free weights.
Yep, I have free weights.
Ooh.
I got into boxing about 5 months ago. There's a guy, and I'll throw him a shout out, Jojo Baquera.
I love Jojo.
Very amazing
that's
boxer.
Good people right there.
I met him. I sold him a truck.
Talk like he's from Brooklyn.
I sold him a truck about 6 months ago, and me and him were real good friends back in the day. Hadn't seen him. He ran into some troubles, but he was there. He was on Showtime. He was a professional boxer.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna have to reach out to him.
He had to go. I got him, bro.
Oh.
And he went away for a little bit. Went on a vacation. Came back. And when I sold him his vehicle, I said, man, I've lifted weights. I've studied jiu-jitsu. I've done things like that in the past. But man, when it comes to boxing, I've always had that belief of whoever strikes first wins. That's always been kind of my mentality.
Hit him in that little spot right there.
Whoever strikes first, but. As I've gotten older, it's now like think about before you strike or before you do anything. But I got with JoJo and I said, man,
he's a boxer.
I'd like some
boxer.
discipline. And that guy, I know he either just hit 50 or he's like 52 right in there. But man, the guy's in the best shape. That's a guy you wouldn't want to catch at a red light and blow the horn. Okay. Be like, let's go. And you don't know that when that guy gets out of the car, it's showtime.
Yeah.
Okay. And he has the stamina of an 18-year-old. I mean, that guy, he can go. And anyways, he was showing me. And when he taught me, he was teaching me boxing, how to do the bag, the speed bag. So in my gym, I've converted about 20% of my gym to boxing. I have the speed bag, the punching bag, and all that. But it's very convenient because, truthfully, man, I get up at 5:30 in the morning and I go in there, and there's sometimes, not gonna lie, I'll take a picture and I'll post, a little motivational quote. Small steps lead to bigger beginnings, or if you start now, you'll appreciate it later. Just anything.
You get your mindset.
Yes. But then I'll take the picture, post it, get a couple likes, and then I'll shut the door and I'll roll into bed. And I'm like,
I was about to say. Because I'm like, how many of those posts?
And people are like, man, he's getting it, but I don't feel motivated every morning. But what I have learned through the times is that motivation is like a shower. You've got to do it daily. You've got to do it. And you know what? If it sucks, then you got to do it, because you know what? I'm learning this as I get older. If you fear it, then you must. Yeah. And the reason is that's with anything. That's carnival rides, that's jumping out of an airplane, that's hitting the gym, that's getting lab results from the doctor. If you fear it, you must. If you're scared of it, then do it. And, I've always been asked, Sergio, you're so motivated, you do this and that, what do you bring to the table? I'm like, I bring the table. What are you talking about? I bring the table. That's what I bring to the table. But the truth is, it's all mindset. And like I said, I don't always feel like motivated. I don't always feel like getting it. But there's got to be something to light you up, man. Yeah. And like I said, I get up in the morning. I check in with my daughter, check in with my wife, check in with the family. But whenever I leave, I use that as motivation. And when I get to the dealership, I try to look at it like, here's the thing. When it comes to working out or anything like that, if you at least do it once a day or 3 times a week, you're already in the top 5% over everybody. Yeah. Because nobody else is doing it. You're in the top 5%. Even though you see all the memberships at Crunch, Planet Fitness, all those gyms, that's that percentage versus the 100,000 people that live in San Angelo. Yeah. Let's just say there's 4,000 memberships in San Angelo. There's 100,000 people that live here. Yeah. So you've already taken a level to beat everybody else. Yeah. Just by working out.
I never thought of it that way.
If you really think about it that way.
So my wife's in the fucking 5% because she gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, she's probably in the 2%.
Yeah,
bro.
and I'm like what?
Like she's dedicated.
Like when it comes to morning, the percentage is even smaller.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about if you just work out, like you're like, I got off work at 8, I worked out for about 45 minutes. Good, but you're in the top 5. But if
I thought it was funny the other day when I texted you, and it was like I think I texted you about 7:30 in the morning. I said, "Damn, I hope I'm not bothering this guy. He's probably asleep or something like that." And then I was like, "No, it's fucking Sergio. He's probably already doing something." And sure enough, you called me right 30 back. Seconds. Like right. He was like, "I just got through working out." I was like, "Yeah, I fucking knew it. You were already fucking going already since
Yeah, I have a new level of respect for people get up that early. See, I've convinced myself that I am a morning person. I'm just born in the wrong time zone.
No. Now what's crazy is my wife. She'll do CrossFit. I'm very proud of her. She's done CrossFit every day at lunch. Every day, man. Every day. Like she could have went out the night before with me and we could have hit.
She'll still go.
She will still work
Damn.
out. Not
That's
me.
dedication.
Not me. If I have a rough night, I need about 20 hours of sleep. I'm sorry. I'm going to call in to work sick.
Yeah.
And I need some time to sleep. But she will still work out on like 4 hours of sleep. She'll still go work out and I give it to her. But, you know, I worked out 2 days ago. I went to Shannon Health Club. And like I said, I got a gym at my house. But we have a membership at Shannon, and I'm like, man, we've been paying for it for 9 years. I might as well go once.
Yep.
No, but I go, and I hadn't been there in about 2 years. And if anybody hasn't been to Shannon, I'm throwing them a shout out. Their gym is amazing. Nothing against Crunch, True Fit, none of them places. But Shannon, they've remodeled it. It used to be Community Health Club.
Yes.
Shannon took over it. They got a sauna. They got a personal shower. The showers there before, I'm just going to tell you right now, they were like county showers. I'm talking about, I'm talking about 8 people, 1 room. Hey, bro, can you pass me the soap?
Bring your flip-flops.
And the shampoo. And he's like half a foot away from you. And you just don't want to look down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those were the showers back then. Yeah. Now, each shower has its individual doors.
Yeah.
You know, you can't see the next person. Cool.
It's funny you say that because I remember my last encounter at fucking Community when it was Community.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I'm sitting down. I put my fucking shoes on, right? I just took a shower. I'm ready to go. And I'm seeing like this plume of fucking white smoke, man, or white powder around there. Like it's kind of getting thick in there. Like there was a lot of people, about a lot of old people, you know?
Yeah.
We're all powdering their balls, bro. And I'm like, my God, how much fucking talcum powder do you need, man?
Yeah. I seen it.
Yeah.
I seen it.
Like to the point where I was like, God, damn, it's a lot. And I looked, I'm like, oh my God, your balls are by your fucking knees, dog.
Scarred me. Yeah, and you know what? There's actually a sign that says you must have a towel. They've eliminated.
Oh, did they?
that.
God,
yeah,
damn,
it's a whole different atmosphere.
Damn.
You know, you'd bring your son in, like, hey son, let's go to the pool, but you got to go to the locker room. You go in the locker room, you see great grandpa. That you're scarring that kid right off the bat. You know, but where I'm going with it is I went and I worked out, did my thing. I was there at 5:05 in the morning, got done about 6:50, got home, pulled up, went into the kitchen. I think I heard her making some breakfast. I could see the kitchen light. It was on dim. I walk into the kitchen. I'm like, "What up, baby?" And I'm yelling to her. I'm yelling to my daughter, like, "Hey." And the first thing out of her mouth is, "Don't start your shit." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And she's just like, we ain't up and we ain't ready like you are." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, they're not morning people.
So
I get it.
My daughter and her are not morning people. So you just got to find your niche. You know, you got to find what works.
Yeah.
It's what works for one person ain't going to work for someone else. But, you know, you just got to find your niche.
I get that, man, because I am not a morning person. Like, I remember we had David, right? David was like, "I'll come pick you up. I'll be at your house." I was like, "Fool, I will call the cops on you." Like, when you show up and knock on that door, there's going to be an officer asking you, "Sir, what are you doing knocking at this fucking house?" Because, no, fuck that, bro. I was like, I'm just not a morning guy.
So then you're an afternoon worker. You know what I mean? You're at night, afternoon workout person. You know, that's what I'm saying. You got to just find your niche.
What's funny, though, is when it comes to, like, we're out doing labor work, I've seen you do it before. Like, well, of course, I'm talking like maybe 10 years ago. So maybe.
Ouch.
I don't know. Well, this is where I'm thinking because I'm thinking back whenever we were back when we were doing roustabout work. You know, we were out there, 6 a.m., which means we left here at 5 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. You know, it depends on where we were going. And then you'd show up, and we'd start working hard, like in the sun all day. Yeah. But you were there for it. It's like you loved it.
That's money, no? It's money.
Was it money?
I think
that's my motivation.
So it's all about, it's a mental thing.
I don't know.
It is a mental thing.
It's definitely a mental thing, but back then it was different because I'm like, that's $1,000 a day that I'm doing.
1,000 push-ups a day. You could do 1,000 push-ups a day if you do it in like 20 reps here, 20 reps there, 20 reps there. You'll get 1,000 push-ups in a day.
I think what Oscar needs, he doesn't need
somebody to pay me to go to the gym.
No. He doesn't need Eric Thomas. He doesn't need nothing like some self motivation or nothing. He needs like CT Fletcher, like still you'll sit. Like he needs somebody just to light him up. And there's nothing wrong with that because there's different types of motivation.
What's the dude? He's the black dude used to be a Navy SEAL, man. He goes fucking hard.
That guy, he pops up on my TikTok.
Goggins.
Yeah,
you need Goggins.
Man, yeah, he's way motivated. He's a little too motivated.
To the point where like, calm down, bro.
That guy on his TikTok, he ran like 10 miles. I'm like,
On a broken foot.
And the whole time he's like, you can do it. You can do it. No, I can't. Like, but I see him. He pops up in my feed. And because I watched that video, then more of his shit keeps popping up.
That's how it works.
You know,
who's going to carry the boats?
I get it. The algorithms.
You have seen it.
I see something messed up on Instagram. Next thing I know, my Instagram.
Oh,
The algorithm. Yep.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't like just Colombianas. Why does that all just keep popping up? It just happened to pop up on the feed. And
it's even worse now if you just float over it for too long. Like, you didn't even have to stop on it. You just kind of like,
10 seconds.
It took you a little bit too longer to scroll past it.
It's like my Instagram is full of cochinadas. Bro.
Listen. My Instagram, it looks like a porn site. I don't even get on it. I don't even get on it. I don't even open it at the dealership because it's just.
You never open it in public?
No.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I came back and said, why is that always? I was like, I scroll by it. And I was like, but you scroll so slow. So I'm still scrolling, but it's slow.
We're going to bring it, keep it going.
I'm like, all right, I guess that the algorithm sees me.
It says you're following it.
I was like, it's like, babe, it's because when I scroll my right hand, sometimes my thumb hits the follow button while I'm scrolling.
Here's a funny story real quick while we're talking about Instagram. So this was like 10, 12 years ago. Me and my boy are in the gym, and I'm showing him, and he goes, hey, bro, you know if you heart it, everybody can see that you liked it? And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you for real? He goes, yes.
Like, oh, fuck.
Because you hearted it. I saw where it says Sergio's now like Sergio liked. And I'm like, I didn't even like. And he goes, no, it does. And then I was like, so what are you gonna do? He goes, bro, just unfollow, just block it, just delete it.
Yeah,
and
that's funny.
Wow, that's crazy. But it's you know, you just don't know till someone else tells you.
Now when you're sitting there scrolling through the videos, it'll show up like who liked it,
who else liked it,
but it'll be your profile picture.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah. In case you didn't know.
No,
now you know everybody.
No. So here's I don't discriminate. I just don't like nothing now. I just
watch it.
There's a meme and it's like a wife's point of view and it's like when you're scrolling through Instagram and it says 10,000 people liked this profile plus this dumbass, which is your husband.
Hey, the ones that are funny because I have assistants that work for me and they'll be like, hey, this person wants to be your friend. And I'll tell them, we'll pull it up. Let me see. Maybe I know them. And they'll pull it up. And it's like this supermodel from like New York. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. And I didn't sell her a car. Click on her friends. Let's see if we have mutual friends. And I hate to say it. It's 6 cochinos that are on there. And, and I'm not going to name no names.
You look around the dealership and it's like those 6 guys.
I don't want to make them famous or blast them. Yeah, but I'll see 6 names on there and I'm like, of course you would be her friend or whatever. And then we get on there and we click it and it's nothing but like video games. And I'm like, hell no, man. Delete that. That's spam. Next thing I know, I add her as a friend. She's going to have access to my Facebook. She's going to log in and get my stuff. Get out of there. And, there's so many hacker things with the email. Yes. My dad, before he passed, I remember he would show me, my dad, my mom too. I remember they called me over one time. They're like, hey, we won a shopping spree to Walmart. Oh, it's $1,000. We get to go get whatever we want at Walmart. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And I left the dealership and I went over there. And I was like, show me where this flyer is. She goes, no. They called me and they said, we won. Mom, show me the number on the caller ID. She shows me the number I call. 10. And a guy answers. And I'm not racist. He just sounded like he was from Nigeria. And I said, hey, man, where are you calling from? He goes, sir, I'm calling from the call center. Man, what country are you calling from? I'm calling from the U.S. Man, are you in Kentucky? Where are you, man? Are you, Maryland? Yeah. What state are you from? As I'm drilling the guy, and I said, here you are calling my parents, they won. Why are you asking them to put their card on file? Oh, yeah. Yeah, my dad's like, we get $1,000, but I got to set up $100 deposit fee. I go, Dad, you give him your card info, he's going to clear your bank account.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
And I jump in there and I go off on the guy and I'm like, lose this number, block it, and I'm done. And I tell my parents, listen, I'm glad y'all called me, told me about y'all's winning streak, but do not do that. And it's just sad because now it's so good on my emails. Yeah, it's good. Man, it's crazy. There's times I order something on Amazon and then I get an email 20 minutes later, your Amazon account your charge didn't go through because your card, and then I'm like, I'm questioning my card. I'm like, my card didn't go through. I look at my card, my card's fine. And I'm like, Oh, you almost got
Almost
me
got
because you
you.
were asking me to switch cards,
Yep.
and I was like, "Whoa, did I go a little too crazy on Amazon?" But no, they look real.
Road tolls, when they first started happening, I didn't know about them.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like right at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
That almost got me too
Hey,
because I always go through tolls.
on the
Yeah.
cool,
got
that
one
was
the other
that was
day.
that was felt. Everybody's got road tolls.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got
Well,
road tolls.
I got one even better than that, man. I got a fucking phone. Well, the salon, right? Got a phone call from the city of San Angelo
Okay.
saying that if we didn't pay such and such, that we're gonna fucking shut the water off and all types of shit, right? Because apparently we were behind, and there was a new deposit that had to be paid because it's a commercial account, stuff like that, right? So damn bill's gonna be $900.
You're like, come on,
Yeah.
knock it out. What do I need to pay?
Yeah, right. So the girls, one of the girls,
You
at
need the
salon
water in the
answered,
salon.
Yeah, so they're like, "Oh shit!" So one of the girls would be like, "Look, I can't get a hold of Amy. I'll pay it, and Amy will just pay me back, right?" So I guess it was just about to go. You know, they were just about to do it, and then one of the girls called me, and I'm like, "Yo, I don't know what you're talking about." I was like, "Well, give me the number and whatever, dude." I shit you not. It was the number for the water department.
Wow.
You're right? Well, no. I'm like, because she gave me the number and I called it and it was like, City of San Angelo.
Oh,
Water
okay,
utility service, something like that. And I'm like, hey, this is what such and such, you know. She's like, yes, this is what happens with the account. So finally, my wife calls me. She's like, hey, did you get a hold of me? I was like, yeah, have you talked to anybody from the salon? She's like, no. She's like, well, apparently, she's like, hold on, the city won't call you. They'll send you a fucking letter.
That's right.
Or they'll show up to the whatever. And I was like, I was so fucking mind blown. So I was like, fuck that. I called back. You know, I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. I gave them bullshit cards, man. Is this working? Like, I wasted their fucking time.
Wasted their time, yeah.
You know, and she's like, sir, none of it's working. We're going to send somebody. I was like, well, fucking send them, bitch. I'll be waiting right here. And fuck you. And I went to the whole shebang,
Yeah.
right? Dude, but it was so fucking convincing. Like, it was literally, they answered it like it was the city of San Angelo. Like, how did you even get my account information?
Yeah.
You know, because, I mean, all of it was to par except for the deposit. And I'm like, wait a minute. What the fuck are you talking about? Why is it all of a sudden a $500 fucking deposit?
You know, they got hacked. The water department's been hacked.
Multiple
Couple
times.
of different times. So they've got everybody's fucking info.
Yeah,
I mean, and it sucks because you can't get out of it because everybody needs water.
Right.
You know?
Dude, but it was so much. I was like, damn, they're getting so fucking intricate, man.
Yeah.
That even the fucking, when you get calls, it's not even a real person. It's AI.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, fuck, dude.
Man, they could actually come up with some type of like FaceTime AI where it looks
It's
like
coming.
somebody from San Angelo.
It's coming.
Where they,
Yeah.
you know, like a face app.
I think I've actually heard that where they're doing like the voices or whatever. Like you saying hello or whatever, they get your voice so that they can use it on like a relative.
Yes. That's
And
what I was gonna
yep.
say. Yep.
man.
So it's gonna happen to where your parents get a phone call. It's a FaceTime call. It's you.
Oh my god.
And they're gonna believe everything. It's your voice. It's you. I need money. I'm in this such and such situation.
Weren't you saying that the FBI was saying to get with your family and come up with a safe
come up
word?
with a safe word? They're like, do it within the next 5 years or sooner because it's going like that, and that's what's gonna happen. And then of course we're on social media. You know, actually, fuck social media. I mean, everybody has a TikTok. Everybody has a Facebook. Everybody has. Now they have our voices because we're on YouTube and Spotify. So, man, they can build a profile, use AI.
God. Could you imagine, like 10 years from now, there's a video of me reading Mein Kampf?
Probably.
Fuck. That's gonna suck, dude.
I mean, have you seen? Like, there's Joe Rogan episodes that aren't even real. Like, he never did these episodes, but there's AI.
his voice.
Their AI design. It's his voice. It looks like him. Everything.
So how do we get that and start a fucking OnlyFans? Man, like, come up with the hottest bitch on the planet, right? And start banking off this shit.
Let me tell you, if sales go bad and I have a straight up feet page, you know, I've told people, mind your business.
Mind your business, man.
You know, I can't go 9 days without selling the car.
I got bills to pay.
Yeah,
Is that the longest you've ever gone? Fuck.
it really is, man.
In your
It was-
entire, how many years you been doing this?
Man, I've been doing it for 21 years.
Wow,
now.
really?
Dang.
You know, and here's the thing. I tell people, you know, I get compliments all the time about my sleeves. It says the CARFATHER. I've told people, you know, I keep doing this any longer, it's going to say the grandfather. and I'm going to just change it. I'm just going to roll with it. You know what I mean? Because I honestly am selling my friends' kids. I've already sold my own son a car. I bought him his first car at 16. My son's 23. And I got him approved in just his name, his car. And here in about a month, you'll see him pop up on Facebook. He wants to buy a truck. I'm going to take a picture of him, post it. He's going to do it on his own.
Yeah.
But I'm selling my friends' kids. And, you know, I told my son, don't you make me a grandfather yet. But if my son turns around and has a kid, there it is. There's a grandfather. You know what I mean? But that's the era I live. You know, and I remember I used to sell cars with this OG named Carlos Martinez. A lot of people in the game, they know who that is. He sold cars for almost 45 plus years at All American, and he was the #1 salesman for many, many, many years. And he worked at Mustang Chevrolet, then he went to All American Chevrolet. He's opened up clubs, Mi Tierra, and stuff like that. But that's where I got my name. I used to help Carlos Martinez, and he was the Godfather. You know, every now and then people still call me that. Even now, even to this day, people still say, you know, hey, the Godfather. And I'm like, no. And I correct them. I'm the Carfather. I'm not the Godfather. The Godfather, I would always say, is Carlos Martinez, and I'm the Carfather, because I would help his customers because he'd be too busy. And he's like, Sergio's going to help you. And there was a time, this was back in 2007, that a customer said, this is the Godfather, but I'm going to deal with the Carfather. And as soon as they said that, it kind of stuck with me. I didn't really bring it up. And in about 2014, 2015 was when I ran full speed with the Carfather. And, you know, there's a lot of different people, you know, you know, whether they think I take it serious, I take it pretty dead serious. Yeah. You know, on my back, I'll let Abraham see. What's that say on my back there, Abraham, right there on the neck?
Carfather. The Carfather.
I got it tatted on my neck, on the back, and it's not just so it could be a badge. It's just because that's what got me to where I am. It's the Carfather. Yeah. You know, when I started it, there's a you
built it. It's a brand that you built.
There's a pretty crazy story about it, and I don't know if we have enough time, but I'll make it fast.
We got plenty of time.
I'll make it fast. So I was a salesman from 2003 to 2008. I sold 6-8 cars a month. I was an average salesman. And so if people want to know, this is how it works. If you sell 8 cars a month, you're average. I don't care if you're dating a salesman. I don't care if you just met a salesman. I don't care if he brags to you at a bar. Just ask him, how many cars do you sell? If he says he sold 8, he's average. If he sells 10, he's above average. If he sells 12, he's doing good. If he sells 15, he's doing better. Once he sells 20 plus, now he's became a professional. Once he sells 30, he's selling a car a day. That takes a lot of work. And there's some other guys here in the business, you know, I'll throw them out there. You got Oscar Rodriguez, you got some of these guys that are selling 40 cars plus. Those guys, they're pros. They've been there, they built their name, they built their brand. But I did it, I was average for about 6-7 years. And then I became a finance manager. From 2010 to 2013, I was a finance manager for Dodge. Then I became a general sales manager from 2013 to 2015. I was learning the ins and outs of the car business. And I remember somebody asked me, they go, how long did you go to school for this? How many college courses did you go? And I said, I'm in college. This is college. Yeah. This is school for me right now. But in 2015, I got into a little dilemma. I got into a situation with the customer, or actually it was a salesman, and it didn't work out. We had an altercation. And I got suspended from work, and I ended up resigning from the dealership. Well, when that happened, I couldn't get hired anywhere. I felt like I was blackballed because I was a manager at a dealership, and I had thrown rocks at all the competition, Ford, Randall, Hyundai, Kia, because I had my sales force and the way I was teaching us and treating them. And you know, there was a couple salesmen I fired. If you were late to my meeting, boom, there, you're done. I couldn't get a job anywhere. Nobody would hire me. And this was in 2014.
That was their way to get back at you?
Nobody would hire me. I remember I interviewed at Ford, and Ford said, you just don't have what we want. We appreciate you applying. Okay. Yeah. I remember I went to Mitchell Toyota, and I talked to, you know, I'm not going to say no manager names, went over there, and they're like, we don't need no salesman. But I sell 20 cars, and I was a finance manager. I was a general. I know the ins and outs. I don't want to be a manager. I just want to sell cars. I just need a job. Nobody wanted to hire me. Okay. I remember I had gone to Kia. Same thing. Kelly Grimsley. No. So long story short, in 2015, Auto Inc. came to San Angelo. They bought out Hyundai. Nobody knew who this group was. They were from Lubbock. They bought it. I remember I pulled up. I had a Corvette, and I was doing pretty good. I mean, I still had some money put up. I remember I pulled up, and I said, hey, I just want to sell cars. they hired me. They took a chance on me. I worked there from 2015 to 2018, 3 years at Hyundai. I sold over 270 cars, up to 300 cars a year. I was undefeated. I went 36 months undefeated every month, month in, month out. Nobody was able to beat me. And I started the CARFATHER. I started taking pictures of customers in front of the palm trees. There's some palm trees in front of Cartown Hyundai, and I would take pictures of customers. I would do videos. I was doing videos before TikToks were even really being made. And I would have customers, who gave you this deal? And I started doing it. I started doing the hashtags. I started doing the hot deal alert, fresh in on trade. I started posting all that stuff. And it's crazy because I was posting on Marketplace, and then I started seeing the salesman do it in 2017, 2018.
Yeah.
You did your own marketing.
Yes, I did my own marketing. So then I was very blessed with that. And then I was given the opportunity in 2018 to move to Mitchell. And I remember I didn't want to go. I was very scared because I had my own schedule. I had an assistant. I could come and go. The only way you would get a car from me at Hyundai is if you called me, set an appointment. I could be at the house playing video games, and I would leave the house and go. I was basically appointment only in 2017, 2018. That's how I had it. But then I had a rude awakening when I decided, hey, I want to leave. I want to be better, and I went to Mitchell. And when I went to Mitchell, their number one salesman was Greg Harridge, undefeated 7 years. Here I am, undefeated 3 years. I said, let's go. The first year I was there, I gave myself basically a $100,000 raise. And he got me by about 6 cars. It was very tough to swallow, but he beat me by 6 cars. But I gave him a run for his money. And it's kind of crazy because when you go against somebody, they make you level up.
Raise your game.
Yeah.
I sold 328 cars, and he sold like 334, 333. He actually had beat me by the amount of cars, but it was the most cars he had ever sold in his 8 years at Mitchell.
It's because he had someone nipping at his toes. That's why.
And it was the most cars I ever sold because I was them. It forced us both to level up. There was 1 month he sold 44 cars, and I sold 38 cars. And I'm not bragging, just for all the viewers out there, if they want to know, I made $38,000 that month. That was the most money I ever made. High school dropout.
Yeah, why would you brag
Most
about that?
money.
I'd brag about that all day.
but it was the most money I ever made. And I just remember, it was just volume. I mean, 38 cars, that's what most people sell in 3 months. And
So
I was
y'all
able to
pushing
do
hard.
it. We were pushing very hard. Yeah. And that guy was grinding. But here's where I'm at right now. And I'm very humble. I mean, whether people believe me or not, I am. I grind. I work for everything I got. But I'm very humble to say that right now, I know for a fact I could go work anywhere. And my business card that I give customers to this day, the same as 2017, my card has not changed. It says the CARFATHER, it has a picture of me, and people never question it. It doesn't say where I work.
Yeah.
It doesn't say what my address is. It just has my name, a picture of me, my phone number, my email, and that's it.
That's it.
That's what
all
you're
you need.
getting. Like you said, you're building a brand. And it's just because of the 3 places I've worked, All-American, Hyundai, Mitchell. I know that people can be expendable. I always used to tell my salesmen, how long will the halls ring your name when you're gone? And I know that a lot of times when businesses get rid of their salesmen or when they get rid of somebody, they wipe them out of the computer. You're not going to have access no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to have access to your clientele. I'm old school. I write down all my customers' names and numbers, and I have files. And when it's time my time to go, I get my files. That's all I need. But one thing they're not going to take away from me is my clientele or my name.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh, man, see, that
reminds me of the movie
that right there lights a little fire in me, man. When he said, I made 30-something thousand, I was like, man, I remember. I was like, that's enough to was like, okay.
that was a bad
Right.
month for Oscar about 4 years ago.
I'll say this one thing.
I'm like, ooh, it's getting hot.
And this is definitely props to you, man. Is every time, like me and you, we're friends. We've been friends for goddamn, I don't even know how long.
High school, junior high.
Shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the number is, but every time I get around him, it's like I feel your energy, bro. And I'm no bullshit. I feel like, man, am I doing enough? Like I don't know what it is. I just question myself because I'm like, I can't. You're doing it, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? I have to question it. Sometimes,
man.
I have to.
It's motivating.
It's definitely motivation.
Totally get it, man, because it does. when you remember like the height of shit, you know, and of course I'm not saying you're not at the height, but like at my height, I'm just like, I got into my comfort zone, you know, and now I make nowhere near that now, but you know,
you're happy.
Well, I am happy. Well, not really.
Okay.
You know, that's where I'm trying to find. I was like, where's my fucking, where am I at?
Yeah.
Where am I at? Where do I mean, it's for me, I need to sit down and kind of self-analyze that because the fact of the matter is, man, is it when you're around people, like, here's this good thing, right? And I can't remember where I heard it. I was like, you want to be the knowledgeable guy, right? Hang around 5 knowledgeable people.
Absolutely.
They'll get you there. You want to hang around fucking 5, you want to be athletic.
You want to be a millionaire?
Hang around millionaires.
What did they say? Hang around 4 millionaires, you'll be the 5th.
You'll be the 5th.
Yeah.
You know, and I will tell you, I squandered that. I did because I got to a place of comfort. You know, I had my 5 millionaires. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you ever been around, you know, 4 of them like that, it's a real teachable moment, man. Because everybody's going, everybody's hustling, everybody's grinding, and it's you can have your conversations, right? But they take it to a whole nother level. And I remember I was there, you know, but the high speed, because it is fast. It's fast paced. You know, it's fast paced when you're up there. And then the reason I pulled away from it, because I noticed that it's like, all right, now I'm here, but my little kids, I got kids, you know, they're older. They're in their 40s and 50s. At this time, I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I'm learning all types of shit, right? But I'm looking back and I'm noticing, I'm like, man, I'm not spending time. I'm missing out on this because I'm trying to level up to this. Yeah. You know, and dude, when it is mind blowing because you do see it. You know, I think at one time there was like 3 or 4 of them that I would always talk to, and none of their kids want anything to do with what they were doing. I'm talking about people, dude, that are making like $400,000 a month.
I have family exactly like that.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. You're right on that, Oscar. And I'm just touch real quick on that. People like adults with careers, jobs that are always working. Because like my wife, she works at Ethicon. Mm-hmm. She's studying to be a doctor. She's doing her doctorate. Yeah. And God willing, in about less than a year, she's going to be a doctor. And here I am, I'm selling cars, I'm doing what I'm doing, but I'm like, I want to be a real estate agent because she's going to level up, I want to level up. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're not competing with each other, but I just want to match her energy. But the kids, when they see the parents always working, and I never got that. When I was growing up, I remember we used to go to rich neighborhoods, and the kids would be there, you know, smoking weed and doing bad shit. And I'm like, God damn, where's your parents?
Yeah, making money.
Well, they're working. Yeah. They're grinding.
Yeah.
And the kids almost despise that. And now it's a very thin line, brother, because we're working hard. We're sacrificing our health for wealth. Yeah. But then there's going to come a time when we're sick and we're old and we're going to use our wealth to take care of our health. Yeah. And it's like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
like,
it's just ass backwards.
Yeah. And our kids growing up, it's like you would never home. Well, yeah, but that's why you were driving a nice car. That's why you would go to the carnival and buy a $150 bracelet for 5 rides. Yeah. Okay? But because I was always gone, because I was working. Now, then you're gonna be mad at me if I'm on the couch and I'm playing video games and you're not able to get the bracelet because I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get that. Yeah. Because I can't. I got $10 in my checking account. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, then you'll be mad at me. So it's a double-edged sword. You're mad at me because I'm not home, but you're mad at me if I can't buy shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I totally get that.
Yeah, it's a weird place to be, man. Like I don't make a fortune or nothing like that. But I mean, when they're just like, hey, Dad, you know, they're always. Like, we're working on mini bikes right now because that's what my kids are into. And I try to spend some time with them doing that. And they're like, hey, can I buy this? I'm like, real quick, just go to Amazon and buy it.
Order the part, yeah.
Order the part. No. But then what is that? I mean, back in the day, I was afraid to instill that type of, hey, Dad's got it.
Yeah.
Or, hey, man, just fucking order it. What the fuck? You know?
Oscar, you didn't even got to tell me, bro. I remember asking my mom for a pair of shoes. I'm like, Mom, my shoes ripped. You can see my calcetín. You can see my sock. Like, when I'm walking, it looks like it's talking. I don't know. You better make it last all year.
Oh, yeah.
You get 1 pair for the whole year.
I'm like, or they would look at your brother. You're like, does he need shoes? We're going to go to, what's that? Fucking Payless?
Payless.
BOGO? Bro, I'm like, yo, we'll get him a shoe and get you half price.
Make sure you run down the hallway and back.
This will segue.
Oh yeah, gotta make sure it fits right.
This will segue into a whole nother topic, and we can go into it.
Oh, let's go
But I'm
into
just
it.
telling you, this generation has no idea, and I'm speaking that for my daughter. I'm like, you have it so much better than I did growing
Oh,
up.
fuck
Let me
yeah.
tell you, I grew up in a military family. My dad was retired veteran, 23 years, and he had child support. But my dad was doing good, back then. I mean, I think he was making like $2,000 a month, retired.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom was cleaning houses. But I remember I had like a certain amount of clothes, a certain amount of allowance, whatever. Now my daughter's like, I need Starbucks.
Yeah.
Oh, you need Starbucks before we go to church.
Yeah.
Why? Because I need to be up. Well, we're up right now. You're in the car. We're driving to church. I know, Dad, but I need to be up. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, okay, let me make a left into Starbucks and get that. But then, we'll turn around and do that. And she's like, hey, Dad, all my friends are going to go to the movies. I'm going to need tickets. Tickets. What do you mean tickets?
Oh, I know, bro. God damn it.
I didn't know I had other children in the house. So, I just tell my daughter, I'm like, look, I still try to lay down the law and tell her it's like this, but it's almost like we have a little bit of guilt, us dads that work and we're gone from the house. They almost make us feel guilty when they ask for something because we want to give it to them because we're gone so much from the house.
Oh, yeah.
My wife gets onto me. She's like, I don't know why you don't tell her something and why don't you yell at her?
It's hard.
I'm like, because I ain't been home for 12 hours.
I don't want her
just
to
got
remember
home.
me
Yeah.
as being that guy, always
Right.
mad all the time.
I just got home. I'm not going to yell at her, but you actually got home sooner, so it's your turn. You go off on her. But, and then when they, they have a disagreement about something, then it turns around, oh, you're going to just let her. And I'm like, whoa, no, don't bring me in it. Like I said, I've been gone all day. I just want to be the mediator. But, this generation, they're just a little bit different, and I say that because of my boys. My son's like, Dad, I want to be successful like you. And I'm like, look, you can't take the work out of work. I've been grinding. It took me 20 years to sell cars for 20 years. It's not an app you can download. I know you're looking for it on your phone. All right, but pay attention to me. I'm talking to you. I'll tell my son, pay attention. I'm
While
talking.
they're doing this,
Yeah,
they're
he's trying to download
I'm listening, Dad.
And when I worked at Honda,
Shit right
and this
there.
was, years ago, when I worked at Honda and I would interview these 20-year-olds, these millennials, and they're right there in front of me, I was taught right off the bat, remember this, people are always going to be selling. They're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear the first few minutes you're talking to them. But the truth of the matter is, if you let them talk enough, they'll tell you exactly who they are.
Yep.
So as I'm talking to them in my head, I'm telling myself, they're going to tell me they're good with people. They're a people person. They're a quick learner. They're this. And I already know that. So their job is to sell me on why they should do it. But it trips me out that when I was interviewing this younger generation, they're telling me, I'm like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where you're at. I want your job. And I'm like, okay.
But I want to be there in 5 years. I don't want to take it to take 20.
The
I
20
wanna
is
be
too
there.
long. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, okay.
want champagne on this beer budget.
So you better be up early. You better be prepared for long nights. You better be ready to paint the town red because you. No, but,
Yeah.
but I'm like, it's going down. But as I'm hearing all this stuff, I just trip out because we're in the generation of now. We want information fast.
Yes.
We want it go. What's taking so long? You could see it at restaurants when people are waiting for their food and they're mad. And it's like, I get it. It's been a minute and a half. You see road rage, but you also see food rage, and it's
Yeah.
just
Hangry
a trip.
is what it is.
But this generation just wants it fast, man. And and I have kids. They're
We live in an instant world now.
Yeah.
Everybody's like now.
Well, go and saying that because, you've hired people. I've hired people. And it's kind of crazy, right, how you can read them within the first 30 seconds of exactly who they are.
Bullshit. You didn't know who I was.
Oh, I knew exactly who you were. I'll just be honest. They sit there because I don't know how you interview, but as soon as I'm interviewing somebody and they tell me, oh, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm like, you're so good. What the fuck you doing here?
Yeah.
I was like, you're already eliminating everything that, like, I hired this one guy, right? Oh, I'm a great truck driver and stuff like that. I was like, great, man. Lucky for you, I need a hand.
Yeah.
You know, so all right, let's jump in the truck. Hey, drive the truck out the fence so we can lock up and get out of here.
Took your fence up.
It's almost like what I do.
Took your fence up.
Fucking truck died on him 5 times.
Oh,
And I looked at him. I was
Shift.
like, yeah, couldn't shift. I was like, I thought you could drive, man.
Damn.
He's like, these are different. I was like, hold on, man. Hold on. Fucking stop. All the trucks are the same.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, get the fuck out. Get in the passenger seat.
That reminds me of those memes where it says when you lied on your application.
Oh, bro.
And they're burning the house down and they're cooking. And
Bro.
it's like,
But there were some, bro, that lie and turn out to be like, I'll say it, right? Because he's going to listen to this. Rhino, that motherfucker lied to me. I was like, you know how to run a backhoe? Yeah.
and he's badass. And,
Fuck, yeah.
and he's still there.
I did that.
Yeah, he was there till
that.
the very end.
That boils down to fake it till you make it.
Exactly,
Yes.
bro.
And I'm gonna just say this real quick, and I want Abraham to jump in. I feel like my boy ain't saying enough tonight. But people always ask me, "How did you get in the car business?" I'm not gonna lie, man. And this is when I was not the straight arrow, but in 2003, I remember reading the newspaper and it says hiring at All American. $2,500 a month guaranteed, and I was like, "Oh, I can do that." And I was smoking my cigar, and I'm there and I'm smoking. It really wasn't a cigar, but I was smoking. and I remember I read the application, and I was like, "I can do that. $2,500 a month. Let's go." And I remember I called in, and they interviewed me like within a couple hours. I was on the phone, and he was like, "Can you come in right now?" I was like, well, yeah, I can come in. Okay, I'll see you in 2 hours. I was like, okay. And I'm like, and I'm like putting it out on the ashtray. Okay.
Reeking and shit.
And I
Take a
get
cold
there,
shower.
and he says, where did you, so you sold cars before?
Visine.
I see that on the application. I see you sold cars. Yes, where'd you sell cars? Oklahoma. What brand did you sell? All of them. It is a true story. I can't even make this up. What was y'all storefront? Ford, Chevy, Mitsubishi. And he goes, y'all had a Mitsubishi and a Ford and and he's just calling me out on a Chevy brand. And I was like, yeah, we had all brands. He's like, okay. He was like, who spun the paper? And now that I've been in the car business years, spin the paper means finance. Who did your, what bank financed it? And when he said who spun the paper and who did it, and I was like, I did. And he goes,
Oh my God.
and I'm being interviewed, and he's like, oh god dang. So as I'm interviewing, he's like, we got us a powerhouse. Like this guy, we've been looking for him. He's worked for every brand, and he spins his own paper.
Dang.
I get hired. This is a true story. I can't even make this up. I get hired. I go into training, and the trainer's like, and you already know this, and I'm like, mm-hmm. and he's still talking, and I'm taking notes. I'm like, no, I don't, but I'm taking notes. And then I remember that first day that they released us to go sell. They're like, all right, we got customers everywhere, go. And it's like a bunch of horses in the stable. Oh, Pat. They like slap everyone's ass. And there was some salesmen in the training class. I knew they weren't going to make it. There was a guy they called Powder. I mean, he was like the movie Powder. Was there a movie called Powder? The guy was
there
real
was.
white,
albino
like,
guy?
like no eyebrows.
Yeah.
So there was a guy they called Powder. I knew there was a movie about him. So he was called Powder, and he really did not have no color to him. And he looked like he got struck by lightning. So he's out there, and I knew he wasn't gonna make it. There was a guy named Brian. I'll never forget his name. His eyebrow was so thick, and it didn't have a break. It just connected. It was amazing.
That's badass.
It was from right to left. It looked like a sound wave, like because he didn't brush it, so it was like highs, lows. But he had one eyebrow. That was Brian. Then there was a guy named Bling. Bling actually made it.
I remember Bling.
Ernest
I remember
Esteta.
Bling.
Bling made it. Bling had spurs though. He had like little clickers. He had his shoes resoled, so he had like chrome things on the bottom of his thing, which was crazy because, like I said, I was smoking back then, and I was like, this reminded me of Roadhouse. I go left boot. I thought he had a razor blade in his shoe, but he had the little clickers on his foot on his shoes. And when we went out there, everybody had something wrong with them. I had a cross earring and I had high top shoes because I didn't have Johnson Murphy's. I didn't have Dolce & Gabbana cologne. I didn't have none of that stuff. Like I went out there with like the short tie guy. And I remember I took the shirt out of the package, so my shirt was wrinkled. I mean, I looked rough, bro.
Had the lines. And
Yeah.
shit.
And people used to call me the thug, and they were like, the thug's not going to make it. Brian's not going to make it. Look, he's got one eyebrow.
Wait a minute.
Powder's not
He
going to
spins
make
paper.
it. So you know, we're out there getting it, and we're just running out there, and it almost looked like a war zone. Like we were just getting shot down, bam, 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 bam. But when I upped the customer, and he's like, I'm just looking. I was like Chris Farley, okie dokie. And I'll never forget, Paul Hatcher goes, come here. And I walked over there, and I was like, yes, sir. And he goes, what did he say? He said he's just looking. I remember it looked like Zeus with a lightning bolt. He wanted to just throw it at me. He's like, you said you spun paper. What do you mean he's just looking? And then you turn around and you walked off, which is crazy because now, as a veteran, the truth is that's going to get said every time.
Yeah.
You know, I sold somebody yesterday, and this is a true story. I walked up to him, and I was like, can I help you, sir? No, I'm just looking. I said, good, I'm just showing. Were you looking for new or used? Because we got a big old sale, and I just rolled onto it. I go, we got 10,000 off. Were you looking at trucks, cars, SUVs? He goes, man, I'm kind of looking at a truck. I go, well, my name's Sergio. What's your name? And he said his name. And I go, you buying one or two today? And when I shook his hand, he goes, nah, I'm just buying one. I go, you just told me you're looking for one. Like the guy literally gave me a buy commitment, a now commitment. I said, are you buying one or two? And he said, I'm just buying one. And it's done. And I'm just saying, people can decide whether they like you or not in 15 seconds. But while you were talking about the interview a minute ago, I thought about what you said, that in 30 seconds you can figure out if you know what they're saying is true. What I was going to tell you, and this goes to all the viewers out there, is a true statement. If you want to really know how somebody feels about you, and you walk into a room and you say, hey, and they turn around and they make eye contact with you, the eyes never lie. This is what I'm saying. If somebody looks at you when you go, like, let's say you walk into a room and you're not supposed to be at that party, and you walk in there and you're like, hey, everybody. And you see that one person that's your best friend or whatever, and they look at you and they give you that look. The first 3 seconds, their facial expressions will tell you exactly what they're thinking without them saying anything. They will either give you that look of disgust, excitement, happy, whatever. Because I've caught myself like that. I'm not gonna lie. I've had people where I'm not ready for someone to show up. I'm like, I told you be here at 4, and they show up at 3:30, and I got all kinds of chaos going on, and they walk in the room, and I'm like, hey. The first 5 seconds of my face tells you exactly what I'm thinking. Because in my head, I'm thinking, man, didn't I tell you? No, but I will still be like, hey, but there's a delay.
Yes.
Because my mind has
processing.
already thrown the
Exactly.
facial of
There you
what
go.
I am thinking.
That's scientifically proven, man, that you already know what you're going to think. You already know what you're going to say before your brain even processes what
your
the
face
fuck.
has already shown it.
Face has already showed it.
Yeah.
Like literally like 10 seconds.
And then you send the signal, hey, smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why in poker, motherfuckers wear sunglasses.
sunglasses, yeah.
That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Because they just, it's
They're excited.
scientific. Yeah, it's scientifically proven. That's why they wear fucking sunglasses, because they can't control that.
Yeah.
It's beyond their control.
So it's crazy though. Cause I mean, I wish you can't teach that.
No.
You can't. Cause once you have to be part of it. You know, you got to do a lot of fuck ups. Kind of like when I tell my kids, you know, hey, when you look at somebody, you look at them steady, when you're introducing somebody, cause you can only, look, I'm sorry, and anybody needs to hear this. You can't make up a first impression.
Oh,
You
that's
can't make that
that's
up.
major.
No. You're
You know,
Major.
yeah, you're done. And he's already made up his opinion about you and all types of shit. So
And
I try
that'll
to tell
last
my
forever.
kids,
Yeah.
look at his eyes, shake his hand, firm handshake. Don't not chin down to the chest. Pick it up.
Confidence.
Pick it up.
Yeah.
You may not be confident, but you know what? He doesn't need to know that.
Yep.
And it's just a quick handshake. And I feel like that's what's missing a lot, man, with these younger kids, because they will come in and it shows that defeated mentality already. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, hey, yo, snap out of it. Snap out of
That
it.
actually, that confidence shit has actually got me a little bit in a bad way with some of my supervisors.
Yeah.
Like almost like this motherfucker a little bit too confident. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna
Like,
put him in his place.
why does he keep looking at me? Like, why does he keep? Because I'll be talking to my supervisor. I want to look at you in your eyes. Like that's how I do it. I don't know. It's just that's just how it is. Like I don't want to like look away. You know. But I'll notice them like look at me. They'll notice that I'm looking at them, and they'll catch eyes, and then they're just like, And
It's
I'm
an
like,
intimidation
What
thing,
the fuck? But I'm not trying to intimidate.
No.
It's respect. I've always taught.
Yes.
That's respect.
Yeah.
That's.
But you see how he bowed down to that because he looked away.
Like sincerity.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, you my bitch now.
Like,
Oh,
look,
that's
that's not what I'm trying
Like,
to
I'm going
do,
to do
though.
this to Abraham right here. Look, I'm going to give him 3 different handshakes, okay? You ready, Abraham?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Sergio.
I wait.
Okay. Now you ready for the second one? Hi, I'm Sergio.
Oh shit! Okay. All right, yeah.
What did you feel on that one?
Yeah.
He felt long hands.
I was like, what are we doing over here?
I've had country guys shake my, I'm feeling right here.
That's the signal.
Yeah.
It's code. Is it code? It's code.
Wrong
And then there's
episode.
like, hey, how you doing?
Okay.
So there's
That's
different
more
handshakes.
friendly.
Yes.
And then
definitely.
there's the. Hi, how you
straight
doing?
eye contact.
Yes.
Yes, but right there, an impression is made.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I was going to say that was the wrong episode. That was last week's.
The first one he was not ready for.
I was like, hey.
Your place or mine?
No, but
But that's crazy, man. Because I mean, I guess when you meet somebody, when you're selling a car, in your opinion, your professional opinion, because obviously you've been doing it for a long time. By shaking this dude's hand and introducing yourself, could you tell right off the bat if this guy's going to buy a car or not going to buy a car?
I can, because some people are standoffish where if they, you know, they don't make eye contact. And, you know, it's crazy when you bring that up. There's, you know, when I was having to go to certain courses back in the day, you learn about there's different types of people. You know, they were talking about the colors. And I think you might remember this. There's a green person, blue person, red person. A red person acts on emotion. He's real quick, spontaneous. He's not going to think about it. A blue person, he'll think about it. You know, you can present numbers to him. He's going to look at them. He's going to think about it. Then he's going to go home and he's going to think about what he thought about, you know. And then there's a green person who's emotional, wants to touch the paper, feel it, hug it, you know, squeeze you, whatever. There's different types of people out there. Yeah, there really is. And I can see that even whenever I meet somebody, you know, I can see the husband, you know, or the wife, you know, shake their hand, make eye contact, no make eye contact. We get to talking, they'll say certain things right off the bat. I think this is the most important thing when it comes to that. You know, eye contact, like you said, you know, firm handshake. But the main thing is this is you can learn a lot from listening, but God gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth. So you want to listen twice as much as you talk.
Exactly.
I've learned through the years to be more quiet and think before I speak.
Yes.
And I think that just comes with age, man, because I remember back then, you know,
Just
15
fucking
years
word
ago,
vomit
you
would come out.
couldn't tell me nothing without me saying, but, and then I
You
just
already
keep
knew
going.
everything.
Now,
Yeah.
now I just stay quiet. You know, you were talking about being around millionaires, and I thought that was very powerful because we've all been in a situation where we're surrounded by people that are successful, people that make money. Everybody's been around people that make money, but the difference is what did you do when you were around those people that make money? And the truth of the matter is, I tell people, listen, I can walk into a room and I can talk to a guy, and this was a couple months ago. I went to a Cowboys game, and the Cowboys were just sucking, but I went to the Cowboys game, and I went with a good friend of mine, Henry Ojeda, who owns Henry's Diner, and he goes, yo, I want you to meet my friend. I want you to meet okay, where's he at? He's in suite, downstairs, 2nd floor, boom, he's in this suite. Okay, we're in the stadium. I didn't even know they had suites. Yeah, let's go. Boom, we hit the elevator. There's a guy that he looks like he's a secret agent. He's like, who are y'all? And he's like, yo, we're looking for this guy. Okay, cool. Boom, he walks us. He takes us into the suite. We're in this room, and you can see the game, and it's all VIP. There's like shrimp, steak, wine bottles, blondes. There's people everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I've been to the Cowboy Stadium a couple times, but I've never been in a room like this. And then he's like, everybody in here is a millionaire. I don't need to be in this room. I'm in the wrong room. But he goes, everybody here is a millionaire. You see that guy right there? That guy right there, that's the insurance agent for the Cowboys. And I'm like, the guy that looks like Boss Hogg? He goes, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, fair enough. That's his son right there. He owns a Range Rover dealership. Okay. And, you know, he's pointing people out and showing me, and I'm like, okay. So I'm there, and I'm chopping it up, and I'm talking to them. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not there to measure with these guys. I'm not going to sit there and drop pants and say, let's measure. But as we're talking, I can at least try to relate. You know, the guy's like, yeah, I just came from Africa. I hunted wild animals. You know, I forgot even what he was. A bison. I think that's what he said. He goes, I shot a bison. He was looking at me crazy. I shot him. And I was like, oh, badass. I was like, yeah, I was in Wall. I shot a rabbit. I was varmint hunting, you know, and he's telling me, you know, he's got this bison that he's getting taxidermied and petrified and put on his wall. And I'm like, yeah, I actually have that rabbit. He's got like deer antlers, and I have him right there. Yeah, it's a jackalope. No, y'all think I'm playing?
No, it's real.
I actually have that jackalope in front of my house. And I said, yeah. I go, I know what you're talking about. I have a jackalope, and he's by my porch. And the guy's looking at me, and I'm like, okay, maybe we're not on the same level. Whatever, man. I shot him just like you shot your bison.
Hell yeah.
But I'm there in the room, and I just said, Serge, take a step back. Listen, these guys are talking. Listen, learn from them, because when you're around a guru, I go, you need to take a step back and learn from them. So I'm there and I'm watching them. And anyways, long story short, we ended up chopping it up. We exchanged numbers. The guy gave me his number. We went to a club. We had a blast. And the guy just said, man, this dude's cool. And I got his number. And now anytime I go to Dallas or go to the stadium, I can always call him. But it was about just breaking that ice and being common ground. You know, letting them know, like, listen, man, I get it. You make $10 million a month, but you wipe your ass just like I do. Okay, there's no difference. Like we're both human, just like me. Like, you know, but we got to chopping it up, building common ground. I just wanted to stay quiet and learn enough to where when I'm in that surrounding, I don't want to be the one talking and be the one making a fool of myself. I want to be able to learn. And I just thought that was funny, you know.
It's a different environment to be around, because as they're talking, right? You I guess like you said, you don't want to go toe to toe with the guy, but maybe it's a little bit of stroking his ego a little bit, because he's gonna want to talk. He knows you're not on the same level.
You got to pet that hairy bastard. You got to pet it. You're like, show it, throw it on the table.
He wants to brag, but he needs somebody to listen to. You know what I mean? He wants somebody to listen to his stories.
Yeah.
Because people on his level, they don't give a fuck. They're like, I did that too.
I'm gonna say this real quick. So earlier we were talking about these motivational speakers. Jim Rohn, I listen to him a lot, and he mentioned this. He was like, hey, listen, if you know a millionaire, if you just happen to know somebody that's a millionaire, offer to take that guy out to eat. He was like, it's a fucking millionaire. He doesn't need nobody to take him out to eat. But you offer, be like, hey, listen, man, I want to take you out for a good steak. Take him out for a steak. Then when you get there, go ahead and tip the waiter $40 and be like, take care of us all night long. And you feed that guy whatever he wants, and you just keep him talking.
He better enjoy Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, that's where he's going.
Well, no, but the whole thing is
you can insult him in San Angelo, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, true. But the whole idea is you want to learn from this guy. Like, just keep him talking. Just keep him like stroke his ego, stroke the shit out of his ear.
Birds of a feather.
Let him tell you everything about every dollar that he's ever fucking made. He was like, you're gonna take something from that table. He was like, that guy's not gonna take anything from you other than, hey, a steak dinner.
He's a good listener.
But but you're going to take more.
Oh you're gonna learn way more.
Table. Yeah,
for sure.
So I mean, that was interesting with Jim Rohn.
Which I thought it was funny, right? Because I was one of my customers, right? You see this guy, whether it's fucking 2 foot of water on the ground or 6 foot of snow, this fool's he's in flip flops.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You know, well, he throws these fucking fancy ass parties and he goes, right? Like I saw him, he was at this fucking the Kentucky Derby, right? He showed me some pictures and shit. He's out there and he's hanging out. I think Jerry Jones was in the background and shit like that. So he's hanging around all these dudes. Okay, he's in their fucking blazer and chanclas. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's funny because I heard some shit, right? Where this guy was saying, he's like, you can walk into a room, right? And everybody's got money. But look at the guy who dresses like he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's the motherfucker.
That guy's got money.
That's the motherfucker with some fucking some cash on him.
I think of Adam Sandler whenever they say.
Yeah. I guess you could use him as an example because he goes around in gym shorts and shit.
Seriously.
But this guy, I'm sitting there looking at him like, yo, you still can't put goddamn.
And it goes deeper. They say the loudest guy in the room is the weakest one.
Is the weakest one,
right.
Yes.
That's true. Yep. That's true, too.
Oh, fuck. There's so much. Oh, so much.
That's
true. I love it, man, because it's a lot of pep in my step, man.
Yep. You ready to go to the gym?
No. No, I mean, just that, you know, I need to find it. I want to go back to making some money because I loved it.
No. Now I got to hit y'all with this because
What's up?
This is what I always when I talk to people, and I say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like Abraham, Oscar. I know I couldn't answer that just yet. I know I got plans,
Yeah.
But where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a hard
What
question
do you want?
because I do have plans.
I'm interviewing you now.
So
Yeah.
exactly.
Dang.
I'm right in the middle of this weird transition with the companies. I mean, like I'm not in between. I'm just like one company bought another company out, and so I'm now trying to fill them out. I'm like, do I even like it? I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I'm giving them 90 days to decide.
They're on probation.
I'm giving actually.
They're
I'm
on
They're on
probation.
probation. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm just gonna say it because I feel like everybody already knows anyway. That everybody that I've talked to, I have applications out there already.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, I'm gonna hang on to this, and the only fucking reason that I'm even hanging on to it is because I'm 30 minutes from the house. Everywhere else, I'll be an hour to an hour and a half away from the house. So it's like that's actually the only thing that's kept me with them for the last 10 years. It's not the money. I mean, the money's been good, but I could have done better as long as I go an hour and a half away. It's been 30 minutes from the house. I'm home every day. You know, I'm not completely stressed out every day. You know, I'm like sometimes a little bit more than others.
So let me ask you this.
So
What you do you love what you do?
not anymore.
Okay. The only reason I say that is because if you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And I know you've heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like an old saying, but it's the truth. Like
Yeah.
if you do what you love,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
Now that when I've gone hard in the night and I've stayed up late or went to an event or something, and then I go to work the next day, it feels like work. It feels
Yeah.
mad work.
Yeah.
Like I actually feel like I'm underpaid.
Yeah, and it fucking sucks because you're like, God damn, what the fuck?
But
You
in
lose your-
reality, I love what I do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And if you love what you do, there's no question about it.
And I remember having a passion for it at one point in time where I was fucking, I didn't need an alarm. I just jumped up
Roll out
ready
of
to
bed.
go. Yeah, I was ready for this.
Yeah.
But then it's got to a point where I think I wanted the comfortability. And once I got there, it fucked me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense. It's like, because I got to the point where like, man, as long as I can get up to here, I'm good.
Your
I'm
job
good.
said
And then
got
The
your
peak
ass.
of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is her name right there?
Tiffany.
Tiffany.
You are like the sweetest person, and I love that. You're what makes it real for a podcast. Just to let
yeah.
you know, I hear that voice.
That
For
background
real.
commentary,
Yes, I like that.
Yes.
I actually want her right here. I want you interviewing right here. But no, that's true.
Back
man.
to your 5 years though. 5 years. If I am still in the exact same position in 5 years, I failed myself. So I need to either be with another company or in a totally different position, doing a totally different industry in 5 years. If I'm still with this company, I better be higher up.
Okay.
So that's where I see myself.
In 5 years, I gave myself a couple goals, man. And after COVID, I gave myself some goals. First goal was to make over 100,000. That was my first goal. Shit, I swamped that bitch in 8 months.
No, good.
Okay. And then I kind of hit a fucking wall. But I told myself, and not even in 5 years, I gave myself to my 40s. My 40s, and it might be a ridiculous fucking goal, but it's a goal that I'm going to try to keep. I want to make at least over 450,000 a year.
That's strong. And
That's
realistic.
the goal. Can I accomplish it? As of right now, with what I know, with my circumstances and stuff like that, if everything would fall into place like I would love it, oh, it's a piece of cake. I can literally do it before I'm 45.
It's good.
You know? But there's an issue. I came across this weird, unbeknownst fear that lingers every time I think about it. Don't know what it is. Never had it. Maybe it's uncertainty is what it is. You know, I know it's easily accomplishable. You know, I could do it. I've thought about it fucking over and over again. I fucking cut to the T's, to the nines. I'm like, this is unfellable. But for some reason, that jump has got me for weird fucking reason. Because I did it in 2012 when I started my Rustabout business. There was that fear, but I just said fuck it. But
Is it like imposter syndrome?
no, it's not. It's basically I'm uprooting everything that I got.
I was gonna say the fear of the unknown.
The fear of the unknown, you know, but I know what I won't say I know. I'm at 90% where I was like, I know what the outcome is. I know what the outcome is. There's no way this doesn't work out for me, you know, but it's that jump that for some reason, like I said, it's that motivation that we're trying to find.
The plunge, yeah.
And it's that because I did it in 2012. In 2012, it was easy. I won't say it was easy.
God, 2012 was a good year.
It was a good year. You know, that jump. I was like, all right, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. This is what's happening now. I'm not. The 9 to 5 is over. You know, I got to rely on my own shit. Yeah. And I did, man.
And that's the real grind right there.
Fuck yeah, that's the real grind. And it went great all the way up till 2019 with the oil crash. Yeah. Took a fucking shit.
And you know what's crazy? The oil fields make the world go round, bro. When the oil fields crashed, the car business crashed. I lived on credit cards for a whole year. Crashed, you know what I mean? But,
so, yeah, as of right now, that's lingering, man, in the background. Where I'm like, I'm trying to do everything else so I don't have to address this right now. But I'm like, I'm not getting any younger. And the reason is, and it's not even for it's not even for, what's it called? Because I want to make fucking a lot of money or
clout.
Like that. It's not for clout. I'll tell you what it is. Okay. And this also lingers in the back of my mind. My dad passed away at 52. You know, so for some reason, like I put a fucking timer on myself.
Okay.
I'm going to be dead at 52.
No. Let me just jump in real quick when you say that. Not to interrupt, but let me tell you something that I told my assistant while we're talking about years and death. I told my assistant this, because I'm 45, and I told her this. I said, if I was a cell phone, I have 30% left. And this is the God honest truth, because if I was 100% as a cell phone, I've already lived 60% of my life.
Yeah.
And as many people that love the CARFATHER or love me, I'm just telling you, I have 40% left, maybe 30. And that's the reality, because most people on average live to 65. So if I was a cell phone, and I'm going to say that for these young gens.
They understand it. I got you.
I got 30% of my battery life left.
Yeah.
And that's why when you ask me, man, I don't know how you get, besides my daughter, that's the second thing, bro. I think about that. I don't have much time left. When somebody asks me, what did you do all day? Oh, well, I sat there and I watched Netflix. You know, I played some video games when I got off work. Nah, man, I'm going to try to make my mark, because right now, you know, I sell cars, I DJ, I see the young generation. I'm out there doing it. But, man, I want to make a name for myself. I just want to make it so good, so hard, and not for the clout. It's just so when I'm gone, my name still rings on. And my son has my exact name. I just want it to be easier for him. And I told him, right now, you know, he works at Ethicon, and I told him, right now you don't understand it, but when you get older, you'll understand what I was trying to do. Yeah. I'm just trying to set you up, kid. You have my name. Yeah. And I want it to be a good name. I don't want it to be a bad name.
See, man, it's crazy because for me, man, I want to get there, and it does touch a little emotional, right? Because I came across this older lady, man. And I saw her by herself, and I'm like, I looked at my wife, you know, I thought about my wife, you know, and I'm like, damn, I need to get healthy, because if not, that's going to be her walking by herself. That's going to be her shopping by herself.
You got to do it for
That's going to be her grocery shopping by herself. The longevity, right? But the plan for me to make that kind of money is because, look, I could die tomorrow, but what is she going to do? You know, I want to make sure she can take care of herself and the kids. Because my dad, when he left, he built a house.
Let me stop you real quick.
What's up?
So I know you're talking about the money part of it, but what about fuck the money part of it? You know what I mean? Like, what about just making sure you have the health to keep, you know, fuck the money. The money, I bet you anything. You're like, you spend your whole life working your ass off. So you're talking about reaching this goal of making, what did you say, 500,000?
Yeah, that's for me.
450,000. Yeah. Okay, so, but that's going to take a lot of time away from them.
But it's like,
they're going to look back at him like, oh yeah, he left us a shitload of fucking money, but I would much rather have him here.
Yes, but here's the thing. It's like having this fucking car, right, that already got a blown head gasket. You know, I'm not in perfect health.
Nobody is.
You know, and
not at this age.
Yeah, but there's
not the way we dream.
Right. But there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do now. Like, I could have done it in my 30s, but there's nothing I can do now to fix that head gasket. That head gasket, it's gone.
It's just the time. It's still the time, man. It's still the time that you have now.
Yeah, when he used that analogy about a phone, I hit the 20% in the fucking, would you like to put it on save power mode? That's where I'm at. That's where I feel like I may not be there. That's where I feel that I'm at. And the thing about it is it, I mean, people say, hey, you know, it's not about the money, but, you know, God, the money makes life a hell of a lot easier.
You're kind of setting it up for yourself, man.
Yeah, but when you see my chart, when you see my family history, when you see all that, you're just like,
you can do things about it, though.
Yes.
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 Yes, absolutely.
But when you got a family history, I was like, oh, we don't make it that far. We just don't.
Because they didn't do anything about it either.
Maybe.
Bullshit.
Maybe.
They didn't.
Yeah.
Were they ever in the
setting
gym?
yourself up for failure.
Were they ever in the gym?
Yeah.
Tiffany
But
has a point.
Yeah, but sometimes you got to fucking sit in reality and be like, okay, maybe I could start working out today, right?
Absolutely.
And I can add me another 5-10 years. Okay.
That's 5-10 years, bro. That's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot, but it's not 60. It's not 70.
No, get it.
Okay,
No,
sure. Yeah, you're not going to live to be 100 and,
No.
You know, you're lucky if you get 75 years. Most people are lucky if you get 75 years. Yeah.
Dude, look. I watch the news every morning. I watch Fox and Friends. Republican. No, but I watch that. Just throwing that out there. No, but I watch it every morning, and you know I catch a lot of heat over that. Why you got to put on the news first thing in the morning? Because I catch heat over it because they're like, that's what you're putting in your mind.
You can learn
it's not
some
that.
shit.
I want to see what the hell's going on in the world besides this Tom Green County bubble.
Yes.
Okay, that's just the truth. I meet somebody, I want to be able to talk and be like, did you see what happened at this press conference? Did you see what NASA did? NASA's losing their damn mind.
Did you get this from your dad? Because your dad was a military man.
Did you
right?
see that,
bro?
my
My dad,
fake ass landing
my
from Blue
grandfather-
Origin?
my dad was old school. My dad, every morning, I never understood this, but he did it. Every morning he would read the newspaper. It would get thrown at our house at the door. My dad would read the newspaper and he would do the crossword puzzle. That's why the guy was so smart. My dad would do the crossword puzzle every morning, and then he would cut out the comedy, the comic of whatever was going on in politics, and he would give it to me. Now, back then, I would be like, Dad, why are you giving me this stuff, man? And then my dad signed me up with Omni. It was a magazine called Omni, and it was like futuristic, but it would have all kinds of topics and stuff, you know, and I would be like, Dad, thank you for this. But now that, you know, now that I'm older, I'm like, I really appreciate that you were trying to make my mind stronger and my mind better. But back then, man, with all the fights and everything going on, Dad, you should have bought me some weights. I don't know why you didn't buy me some dumbbells, some bench. Like, man, I was getting in fights left and right, and you're ordering me Omni magazines. But anyway, that's
He was trying to open your mind up,
He was
though.
trying to open my mind, but it wasn't working.
The reason why I asked is 'cause I have my grandfather on my dad's side. He was military. He fought in Korea. And I remember every time we would go to Del Rio to go visit them, man, so there was like the living room, and then there was a den in the back, which was his living room. It was that TV stayed in the news.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted to know what was going on around the world all the time, and it was never local news. It was always national news. And
Yeah, like Comcast, like split screen
Oh,
before there was a split
yes.
screen.
He wanted to know what is happening around the world, and I remember chilling in there with him sometimes, and I'm like, I asked him that. I was like, why are we watching this? And he told me. He was like, because there's more things that matter
More
in the
important
world
than here.
than what's happening right here, right now. Yeah. I was like, damn.
Yeah, my dad used to always turn it off because he's like,
What can I do about it?
yeah, why we're upset about something you can have no control over.
So to recap,
Yeah,
we know
that's
Oscar said in 5 years he wants his check to look like a phone number. Thank
That's
you for
right.
that, Oscar. Tiffany, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Oscar wants his to look like a phone number. That's not a bad answer. Thank you. Tiffany, where do you see yourself in 5
Well,
years?
I graduate from school by the end of this year, so I'll be doing what I'm going to school
Central
for.
or Lakeview? Where you
No. hey. I'm 30. I'm going to be 37. Okay,
Good
in
for
July.
you. You look very young, friend.
Thank you.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll be graduating in December.
What's your major?
Social work.
Okay.
I like what I do.
We need more people like you. Is it like with families, like people that are abusive, crazy?
People that
that do
need to
bad
work
things,
and
need to help 'em out.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Good.
But I also have where I can go into radiology, and that seems to be also what's pulling me too. So I
It's good
think
money.
down the road, once my kids are probably graduated, I'll probably dive into that.
Well, Tiffany, you look young and you still got a whole lot of time ahead of you. And I think if anything you put your mind to, you'll find your passion. on
Yeah,
what
my
you
dad
want.
always told me you can never stop learning. So
I tell people this and they laugh, but I said, when I grow up, I'm going to figure out what I want to do with my life. And I've been selling cars for 20 years, and I just, this is what I would tell the viewers. You can get anything you want in life if you give enough people what they want. And I know that me selling cars, people ask me, what's your job in a nutshell? I said, my job, honestly, is to arrange a meeting between an ass and a seat. Boom. That's really what I'm doing. I'm arranging somebody to sit in a car, fall in love with it, boom. And I'm not trying to sell them on it. The car should sell itself.
Exactly.
Like, we're in the day and age where I don't got to wear a plaid suit with the checkered jacket with the cigar and be like, hey, what do I got to do? Like, we're past that, okay? You've done looked me up on Facebook. You done seen what my lifestyle's like. You done seen who I am, what I be about, and all that. And by the time you get to the dealership, you've already made your mind up on who I am, because that's where we're at. That's where we're at in this day and age. I can see a customer message me about a car, and they have no idea that I can click on their profile while they message me, and I can see everything. I can see that they're a dog person, a cat person. I can tell that they're about bling or something. When they get there, I already know they want to look at a Cadillac.
Yeah,
they didn't even ask for the
those little hints.
I can tell.
Yeah, they even like spit out. It's like, man, this is like, look at all this room. You can put a kennel back here.
That's like you've been a dog kennel. But that's just the era that we're in. But I ask where everybody wants to be in 5 years, because it goes back to where we talk about that battery life. Life is short. God, is eventually going to call the people that we love. Eventually, He's going to want to take them back to heaven. So love the people that you can now, because we're not going to be here forever.
No.
And when our time comes and our number's done, you want to be able to leave your mark. And sometimes all you have is your word, or you have your memories, and those are the things that matter. I told somebody the other day, I'm not Tekashi 6ix9ine. I don't care about money. Money didn't make me. I grew up without money, and people, Sergio thinks he's all that with the vet, with the top down. Yes. Okay, that's why I dropped the top, because I grew up broke.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't come from money. I earned it. I didn't win it. I earned it. But in the end, this is what I know. The money didn't make me. It's not like I hit the lottery. I work hard for what I got.
Yeah.
But I just know this, that when it's all said and done, my Rolex or my watch that I'm wearing, or whatever somebody's wearing, it tells the exact same time. I know that when that plane crashes, or if I'm on a plane, it doesn't matter if I'm in coach or VIP or if I'm in regular, it's going to go down the exact same way. I know that when I'm in that coffin, there's not a U-Haul. And I say that because I saw my mom and I saw my dad, and when they passed and they were gone, my mom was very, very particular about spending money. She hated spending money. But when she died, those couches that she kept the plastic on, those lamps that she kept the plastic on, they were gone. We didn't need them. My dad didn't want them. I wanted to put them in storage, so I sold them. My mom never took the plastic off those lamps, and they sold like they were brand new. And my dad was the opposite. My dad liked to spend money. My dad liked to do things, and he did it. And he kind of lived like, you know what? You live once, boom, done. Spend the money, gone. And I did that, and I saw both lives. Yeah. I saw one that was very tight with money, and I saw one that wasn't tight with money. And in the end, they both died in the same exact size coffin.
Yeah. Well, when I'm making money, I don't gotta tell nobody.
There'll be signs.
There'll be signs.
That looks like a phone number.
There'll be fucking signs, because that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
I don't like to hold on. I don't like to hold on.
No,
to money.
Oscar, and that's honestly where I was gonna go with that. Is that's why I do what I do, and sometimes people can take it as cocky. No, man, I'm trying to live my best. I got 30% left, man, on my battery.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Judge me how you want. I don't got much time.
You want to know what my savings? My savings ain't watching what I spend. It's making enough money where I have to spend enough to fucking, I was like, I spent my entire check.
Yeah.
No. My savings is because is make enough money where I can never get there, and a little bit gets put away. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I can't take none of it with me.
Yeah.
None of it.
Oh no. No.
It's not like I came to this fucking world when my dad passed. I wasn't left with a fucking fortune. I was like, hey, I was left with debt. Is what I was left with.
Yeah.
So
that's
at
the
end
last
of the
thing
day,
you want to do,
bro. That's well, I don't know.
You want to leave your kids with debt?
Not with debt, but to the point, I want to leave
Keep them on their toes.
Exactly. I was like, look, don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. Because you know what? Life it's not comfortable.
It's not promised.
It's not promised. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah. I know a lot of people that make a fuckload of money. When I was talking to my wife about this, that you know, like one of my customers has the kids want nothing to do with what he did, how he made his fortune.
Oh yeah.
And then my wife made a good point. She's like, because they never have to worry where their next dollar was coming
Yeah.
from. They don't have to worry about that. That's just already been already handled. But when the money runs out, what are they going to do?
They have no skills at all.
They have no skills. So
Everything was given to them.
Exactly. He had to make enough money to make sure his kids had nothing to worry about. But then those kids.
Do we know the same?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But, you know.
I know exactly.
His
I know that
kids,
situation. Yeah.
You know.
And it sucks.
Yeah, because he's driving. I mean, there's a 20-something-year-old driving around in a fucking Bentley. Okay, you think he's gonna leave that for his kids? No, man. No. That trust fund's gonna be spent quicker than shit. Mm-hmm. So he'll be the one to drive the Ferrari. The kids will. They'll be the ones having to work for their money.
Yeah.
I tell you what will really throw you off is if you're at a red light and the guy next to you is in a Bentley, and you happen to look over, and he picks his nose. And, you know, he's digging in there and he's getting something. And you see him, you know, pull out a booger. And the light turns green and you go, where's it going?
He didn't flick that motherfucker. No. He ate that bitch.
Like, yeah. And I say that just because I seen that. And it wasn't, it may not have been a Bentley, but it was a very expensive car. And I saw a guy just, you know, he was sitting there and he was just chomping on it. And I said, he dug in there and and the light turned green and I went and I just stopped for a second. I said, where's that going? I never saw his window go down. So
he didn't flick that motherfucker. He ate that bitch. Because people are gross.
That's actually really fucking gross. That's
that is. I'm a very visual person.
So I'm gonna take y'all down a dark alley. This is
that was dark enough.
This is for all my podcasters. So if there was a situation where, you know, a girl's going down on a guy, this is rated R. If a girl's going down on a guy and she happens to spread his leg and there's a little bit of that cheese right there,
My God.
No. Right there between the thigh and the crevice of his, you know, his genre. And she sees it, but she keeps going. Who's dirtier?
Ooh.
Him?
Oh,
or her?
she is.
Definitely her.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's his cheese.
She should have gagged and ran away.
Cheese is cheese, dog.
Okay, so she's dirtier.
Did he get out of work? I feel like there's more context here. Because like if he was driving a car,
Kimberly, who's dirty?
Tiffany.
Tiffany. Sorry, Tiffany. We're to that point in the podcast.
I'm trying to get the visual out of my head first.
Does he know he has cheese?
Okay. So we're gonna go PG-13 now. You're in the gym, and you're working out. You're banging out some music, and you grab your headphones and you're like, "Hey, listen to this song." Boom! You see the earplugs. That's not you. I'm saying you see somebody pull the earplug out, and he's like, "Listen to this song," and the gym partner sees the earplug to put in their ear, but they look, and there's a big clump of earwax. But they say, you know what? And then they put it in their ear to listen to the song. Who is dirtier? Who is dirtier?
That motherfucker's dirty.
The guy who put it in his ear, or the guy who was jamming?
Because the guy didn't know.
The guy that put it in his ear.
He may be dirty, but
he didn't clean his ear though.
Not necessarily. I clean my ears every day, but I still get earwax. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
hey, with all this wind and pollen, you're right.
But still, like he pulled his bitch out, right?
Looked at it.
He looked at it.
Accepted it.
I want to show that bitch in my ear. That's like, wait a minute, hold on a second.
is this code?
Yeah, like if you go to a let's say, I don't know, whatever. Let's say JCPenney, for instance. You go try a pair of pants, but there's a skid mark inside one of the pants. You know, you look at it, you're just like, I'm going to try them on anyway and see if they fit.
That is true.
You know, I was like, look, if you put it in his ear and he took it back out, and he's like, oh, fuck, there was earwax. Well, you know what? I already stuck it in my ear, but that's his earwax. Here's your shit back. Don't say anything. You're not gross. That guy's gross for not cleaning his fucking ears.
That's the part of the podcast we're at. This is the who's dirtier.
We always go dive into weird shit.
The podcast goes crazy, bro. We get weird.
All right, so I'm going to tell you a story. I don't know if you podcasters.
Hang on, real quick. What were you gonna say, Tiff?
I was gonna say, I don't know. This is totally random, but I'm gonna take it back to like when you were talking about how you had nothing, and as far as like you were struggling to, you know, get going. I don't know why. It totally reminded me of the movie Jerry Maguire, and he's like, "Show me the money," because he could. When you talked about bringing out the book and having all the people, all the clients and stuff that you had, that's what it totally reminded me of, and I just want to acknowledge that. Like, all I can think of.
Yeah.
I just always believe, and I try to tell my salespeople this. Listen, I love every single one of y'all, but in the end, every day I come to work, my job is to dominate. It's to beat y'all. But I tell them, remember, your job will love you as much. Your job is not going to hire you and say, I'm looking out for your health. You've got to go to work every day with the mindset of, I got to look out for me.
Yes.
Because in the end, when you leave that job or you decide to do something different, they're going to try to strip you of everything. And I've seen it. I've seen it where a salesman's sick and he goes 5 days without selling a car. And then he calls in and he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to quit. I've seen salesmen go, grab his stapler, grab his keyboard, grab his computer. And I'm like, God dang, he's not even fired yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you vultures? Like, I'm not going to lie. I don't need none of that shit. I got my own shit. My shit's custom. I got like a nice keyboard. I got like a 50-inch screen. But I'm like, I'm not taking that shit. But no, I'm just saying, I watch this shit. They're taking his slippers, his robe, his soaps. They're taking everything.
And a week later, there's somebody else sitting in this chair.
There's somebody else. You are replaceable. Anytime you think you're not. But, I try to instill in people, you got to look out for yourself. You've got to take note. You've got to, have a backup plan in case it doesn't work. But ultimately, I tell people this: if you're thinking about doing something in 5 years to make more money or do whatever you want to do, you got to think of it like this. If there was an island, and if this podcast was an island, and you think about it like this, I'm gonna be on a boat and I'm gonna go to the island, but you know what? I have a backup plan. If this doesn't work, I want to go do this or I want to go do that. It's never going to work. You got to burn the boat. You got to make sure that there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
This is where it's at. This is where it's at. This is what I got to do to succeed. Because whenever I left Cartown and I went to to GMC, and I knew I was going to compete against Toyota, I knew I was going to compete against all these salesmen, I said, I've got to burn the boat. There's no way I'm going to make it because I don't have a boat to go on. So I knew that wherever I went, I had to make it on that island, whether it was going to be successful or not. There's a saying, sink or swim. I had to do it. So, while you're bringing up the, put it down, write it down, Jerry Maguire, listen, that's just everything in life because nobody is going to look out for your health. Nobody's going to look out for your benefit. You've got to look out for yourself, man. Yeah. Because, listen, if the plane was crashing and me and Ham were on the same plane, that guy's going to announce, grab your oxygen mask, put it over your face before you can help someone else, cover your face and help yourself. You've got to help yourself.
And Oscar in first class.
Everybody give their best.
I got my parachute on.
Yeah, he's out.
I brought it with me. I'm like, oh, man, that sucks for you guys.
First class out first.
Yeah. And the other thing I didn't mention, of course, because I was thinking about it after the 5 years, I'm still going to be doing this.
Oh, I love this, man.
This is my vent. If it wasn't for this, I probably
what keeps us sane.
I probably would have flipped the fucking table 2 years ago.
I
quit.
This to you, brother. I watch it. I love what you're doing. I'm very, very impressed. Seriously, I love this. I would actually like to show you one of these days my studio. In the house, I have a DJ studio where I mix and I do stuff.
Okay.
And people are like, so Sergio, why do you DJ with the amount of money? I really don't do it for the money. I do it for the passion. I love music. I love doing it. Very, very long time ago, many moons ago, I used to be a rapper and I used to have, the artists and I used to do all that stuff. But, time, it wasn't paying the bills and time would tell on what was going to happen. But I'm still plugged in with the music. I still keep up with what the trends are, the hottest music, whatever, which is crazy because the music nowadays, it doesn't even have words. It's just like,
mumble,
it's all mumble rap.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the hook, huh? Yeah. But, I love music and I love doing it. But I wouldn't change it for anything because it just doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And,
that's
we're
badass.
fishing waters.
Yeah.
And
do you know there's still a
see
video out there on YouTube?
Shake it, make it.
So I'll be clipping that a little bit. Put it into this.
Actually, Abraham played it in here the other day. I didn't even know there was a video out on YouTube.
Yeah, let me tell you.
It popped up on my YouTube because it was like
325. You must have typed in 325.
No. It just popped up because it was like a memory of like I watched it like 13 years ago or some shit like that. and it popped up, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I don't know, man, dude, the fucking phones listen to you. So it was around the time we were talking about, we were going to schedule you on. So we have a list of all the names of everybody we're about to schedule, and we were talking about it. And then all of a sudden it pops up on my fucking phone, like 13 years ago. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. This was 13 years ago?
And let me tell you that, somebody said.
More than 13
somebody
years ago.
said, oh, it was way more than 13.
Yeah.
It was back in 2008.
Holy shit.
So, yeah, it was about 13 years.
15?
Yeah. So people have said, why did you do rap videos? Why did you do this? And you know what I said? When you record, whether it's music, vocals, video, whatever it is, when you record, you're making history.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're recording it, and it could always be played back for generations to come.
Yeah.
And, many, many months ago, I recorded with SPM. I recorded with Juan Gotti, Lucky Luciano, Twin Berettas. I recorded with all those guys. Uchi was a guy who was a producer for a guy named Grimm. Grimm rapped with Dope House Records. And I recorded these guys. This generation now, they've never even heard of those guys. But I recorded with them in 2003, 2005. And to me, it was a big deal. I'll tell you a name that everybody knows. Who sings that song, Sugar, Sugar, You're My Baby? You're My Lady.
Baby Bash.
Baby
Yeah.
Bash.
Yeah.
Thank you. Baby Bash, true story. I have them recorded. Baby Bash recorded at my house. And I remember Baby Bash was like, where am I going to stay? And I put him on the couch. Nobody believes that. Listen. Grim, I told Grim, you sleep on the long couch. Baby Bash, you got the small couch. Twin Berettas. I put them. I'm serious.
Yeah.
They came to San Angelo. I paid for them to come, but I didn't have enough money to put them in hotel rooms. So I was like, listen, we're gonna party all night at my house. Y'all can stay the night at my house, but it's a 2-bedroom. Sorry.
Yeah.
and I'm going to the bedroom.
Sweet ass couch though.
I'm going to the bedroom, and my roommate's going to the guest bedroom, and you guys got the couch, and that's what it was. But I love music, man, and I recorded. And I still got to hook up some of my equipment so I could play that music.
Yeah.
But I made history.
That's badass, man. Because there's one thing I've been looking around, and I don't see how much your passion is for music, but I'm looking for a sweet ass intro.
Oh.
I've been wanting to change it because I'm like,
We've had the same intro for 2 years.
For here, yeah.
Oh, I'll make you one.
Fuck
Say
it,
less.
I was going to say.
Say
he might
less
make you one.
on what it do. I'm going to come in. I can already tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in with like some Paul Wall, like the grills.
Yeah.
Like
Rapid
dun,
Rick.
dun, 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 and then I'm gonna mix it up with something more modern.
How's that work with copyright though?
Like no, that's why I'm gonna mix it as a DJ. So I'm gonna come in with something like Johnny Dang. I'm gonna come in with some of that, a little bit of Mexican OT. And I'm gonna make Paul Wall. It's like they're gonna have a baby on the song, and that's gonna be the intro. And as a DJ, I'm just gonna mash it up. I'm serious because it's got to be Texas. It's got to be.
Texas.
Yeah,
It's got to
absolutely,
be.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not over here saying Young Dove. I'm not over here saying the baby. I'm gonna mash it with some Texas rappers, but I'm gonna take their music. It might even have a little hint of like Celso Peña, like La Cobra. Like it might be a little bit in there with Anacito Molina. Mixed with some AJ Castillo. Like AJ Castillo might just be in there for like 2 seconds.
That sounds good, man. Free reign.
I'm being serious. I can
yeah.
do it. The one of these podcasts, one of these days might be at my studio where I'll take you guys over there and I'll chop it up for y'all right there.
We can do it.
Seriously.
We can
Yeah,
do it.
that's a piece of
I'll show
cake.
We
you.
can do it.
Fuck, that's badass. Fuck, well, I'm looking
excited
forward
to
to
hear
it.
it.
Hell yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So our intro we've had for 2 years now.
Yeah.
We're going over 2 years, and I like the intro, but you're right. Like
it's time.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
okay,
time.
I'm kind of tired of hearing it now.
Time to
Like,
upgrade.
It's time to revamp a little
Fast forward
bit.
past it already. Get
Because
yeah.
we got to create a brand.
I got to.
And
Rapid
I mean,
Rick.
you know how to create a brand?
Do I know?
I don't know how to create a brand.
We are
I
creating
know
a
somebody
brand.
that can.
Well, okay, maybe we are. I guess. I don't know.
Hey, things happen for a reason. We crossed paths. Ham reached out
He
to me. I
created.
said, let's go. We're going to do something.
We're gonna do it.
something.
We're gonna do it.
Because, as far as the DJing part goes, I try to tell people when it comes to DJing, I believe in my heart that I'm as good as a DJ as I sell cars. I've been selling cars for 20 years. I've been DJing for 15 years. There's DJs like Little Mario, Energy, Dallas, Thomas, all them DJs. They're all good. They all do their thing. They all got their own style. When it comes to me and people ask me, are you as good as them? I'm like, listen, They got their own style. Mario does what he does.
Yeah.
Energy does what he does. Dallas has his style. But if any of them ever turned around and said, "Oh, DJ CURREN-C, he's trash," well, then you're trash. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now. I do my thing. I know I rock crowds, and I know whenever a crowd leaves, they don't ever leave and say, that guy was trash, that guy was terrible. I know that when I go do a quince or I go do a wedding or I go do an event, I know that people go up to me and ask me, do you have a card? Can I have your card? I don't promote myself. I go by word of mouth. Yeah. And the only way I get business is if I kill it, if I rock it, and I do what I do. So when it comes to San Angelo, all I'm trying to do is make people dance and make people groove. I'm not here to compete with nobody, and I'm damn sure not here trying to measure with anybody. But if you want, you guys will get the girth. And all I'm saying is I'm just here to do what I do. I'm just here to do what I do. I'm not worried. I'm not hating about anybody. I'm just here to do what I do. And I'm here on What It Do podcast, just doing my thing. You know what I mean?
Fucking A. And that's my biggest pet peeve. Bro. I'm on Facebook. I'm like, hey, who's the best DJ in town? What's the best restaurant to go? I was like, hold on a second, man. I said, go fucking try one. Yeah. God damn. Yeah.
Everybody's got different tastes.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, somebody might recommend, you may not like, Yeah. And it's like, look, there's fucking different strokes for different folks.
Me and you have this argument all the time because I'm like, man, this food is the shit. And you're like, yeah, that food sucks. Fucking. And I'm like, well, your food sucks.
When you sent me, brutal. When you sent me to the wharf, bro, I was like, all right, we're gonna go try. We're gonna have some fucking steak and lobster, right?
They're iffy now.
Man, the only thing I was gonna say about that place is I remember going there in like 2007, and I went there. I've gone there quite a bit, but it looks the same as 2007.
Oh, yeah.
They got the same bike in the ceiling. They got the same. Let me tell you, that place has got it figured out. We don't got to renovate. We don't got to remodel. We don't got to do nothing. Just keep serving. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I get it. I get it. You know what I mean?
It's the same shit.
But I'm just amazed on how, the process works.
Yeah. Like I've tried everywhere.
It's the only place in San Diego you can get a lobster right now.
Yes. And that's sad.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, even not
$200.
Oh, bro,
2 people.
Yeah, not even worth it, bro. Not even worth it. Like, you want a good steakhouse? You want a good fucking steak? It's a little bit of a drive. Yeah. You got to go with Buffalo Gap. It's the closest place.
Man, you know what was sad though? There was the Craven Crab, and then there was the crab. I think they messed up because both their names were damn near the same.
Yeah.
There's a smoking crab on Bill.
yeah. But both those places, they were like, they came out banging, and I hate this. I'm just telling you, I'm from San Angelo. I love Tom Green County. I love my people. But man, we're like sheep. When something opens, it's hot. We're all going. Mm-hmm. People bash it, or people whatever don't like it, or they do like it. And if you're in, you're in. If you're not, you're not. But it's just sad because you watch people pour all their money, all their stuff. I'm a business owner. I have a business right now. I have a decor business, but I've also been a business owner of Pure. It was a boutique. I poured my blood, sweat, and tears into that place. 8 years downtown.
Yes, sir.
Right there. I had that salon. I had that boutique, and there was times that place wouldn't pay for itself, and I stepped in and I paid the bills. But 8 years, and I just said, wow, San Angelo. And they're like sheep. They either go or they don't go. And again, I'm not singling anybody out. I'm just saying, if you're not in, you're not in. And it just sucks to see people pour their savings, their money into something that people never gave it a chance because they were going off word of mouth.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going with the whole sheep thing.
Yeah.
Because somebody will go, somebody will bash it. It's just like a movie. Somebody watches a movie that's the worst movie ever. And then I'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna go see it. And I'll go take my daughter, and I'm like, that movie was pretty badass. I don't know why I listened to that person, but I still came and I watched it. Or I've watched a movie and I'm like, damn, they were right. The movie was terrible.
Yeah, Joker 2 was garbage.
I should have listened to Facebook. I should have listened to Facebook.
Yeah, but I totally get it, man.
But it's just like, you know what, man? Do you go out, go check it out? I mean, in the end, what else you got to do?
Yeah,
we're in San Angelo. Go check it out.
Experience some shit.
Exactly,
sure.
man. Like I've talked about this before. Of course, I don't even know how to implement it, but like throwing the fucking festival with just local, small. Like I'm not talking about like a fucking IHOP. I don't want none of these.
Blaine's Picnic.
There you go. Something like
yeah.
Wouldn't be bad.
I'm taking it way back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It wouldn't be bad to bring something like that back, but with fucking local vendors, man. Because I'm like, dude, there's a lot of people that I don't know exactly
Fiesta del Concho used to be that.
Yes, it did.
But I don't know what happened with that.
I don't
You
know.
know,
I don't know what happened.
I
with
think
it
what
either.
happened is the fucking money got involved.
Ice.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, ice probably too.
Dang.
Took a lot of those cooks out.
Yeah. Our
know?
people.
People strong, brown power. You know, just have something like that. We have local fucking restaurants to come out. Look, I'm not going to charge you to come out.
Yeah.
You know, we'll take donations to fucking pay for generators and shit like that, or pay for the fucking spot. But like, hey man, let's start filling these so people can understand, because there's a lot of restaurants that are really good, bro, that go completely unnoticed.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like,
Give us some.
oh man, there's this fucking around 20. You remember old Joe's Italian? No, is it Joe's Italian? Joe's Restaurant.
Yep.
On fucking 29th, man. Back in the day, they used to sell the
Joe's Park.
Joe's Park.
Yeah.
Okay, there's
The
a
steak, the chicken fried steaks.
Yep.
fuck yeah. Buy one and get the other one half off, or
Yes,
buy one
yeah.
get
Yes,
one.
sir.
Okay, that was the shit. You know. Now I don't know how they could afford that. I don't know if that was actually beef.
That's why that's why they're closed now.
That's why they're closed down. But there's a Mexican restaurant there now.
Okay.
You know, that's like Camarones Locos,
Yeah.
man. Bro.
Does
Yeah.
it go
Bro.
hard?
Oh, it goes fucking hard, dog.
Okay.
I see it all the time,
literally,
and I never
it
stop.
literally feels, man, like I'm back in Mexico.
Okay. Albert, I mean Abraham. What?
Albert.
Sorry. The whiskey? No, Abraham. What is one of your go-to restaurants?
At
I
the
know
mo-
it's not the Wharf, but keep going.
No. Man, at the moment, I'm kind of like in that Rincon. What is it?
Oh, yeah.
It's right there. I know a Chad
That's
Burns.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That one's all right too. That used to be an AA place.
Yeah.
It's actually like going to like a tia's or like
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, come to my abuelita. She's gonna cook for you because it's
Yeah.
it's a
Like a
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
house.
fucking good there, man.
And then
Like going to San Miguel
you
or
go.
something.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay, my go-to,
Yeah.
Rancho Grande, bro. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. They're
You can't
good.
beat that
Rancho
menudo.
Grande, where's that at?
Man, on 19th and Armstrong.
No, I'm strong. Right? It used to be an old gas
Bro.
Right
station.
at the corner.
I got to tell you, I've eaten
Rancho
everywhere.
Grande?
Rancho Grande. Bro.
Yeah.
It was an old convenience store.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, I'm
But,
gonna have to
bro,
go to that tomorrow.
it's
Where's
fuck-
that at? Where's that at? We're gonna throw them a shout out.
Corner of 19th and Chadburn, or 19th and Armstrong.
Armstrong.
Y'all better be
There's a-
following what it do.
There's a
Fuck yeah, you
stripe.
better be.
There you
There's
go.
a stripes on this side of it.
Yeah, because I'm really gonna go there tomorrow.
Yeah, I would try. Bro.
Rancho Grande. I'm gonna Google
Get
it.
the menudo.
Yep.
Well, menudo, fuck that and Little Angels. Little Angels.
Oh,
is-
Little Angels.
Little-
Oh,
Okay, Little
You
Angels.
don't care
goes-
for
no,
menudo?
no. Breakfast, Little Angels. I've sold the owners from Little Angels.
Oh, okay. Breakfast though.
Juan,
you want
my boy
like?
Juan. Shout out to
Yeah.
him.
Okay.
I DJ'd his daughter's quince.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Fuck you want good like breakfast, like fucking just your
Cozy kitchen.
cozy kitchen
Ooh,
all
cozy
day.
kitchen.
cuz.
Hey, we just
Cozy
read each
kitchen
other's
is
mind.
the
All
shit.
day.
Yes,
bro.
cozy kitchen, little Oriental lady going up to you. What would you like? Oh, sunny side up. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do we always
Fuck
talk
it.
about that place right there? Is I leave from there and I don't feel like I just ate a brick.
Where
I
at
don't-
cozy?
Yeah,
Cozy
cozy.
kitchen,
It feels like I don't feel like it doesn't feel heavy.
It's satiating, but it's not heavy.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't know I don't know if it's the oil that they're cooking with or what, but it's great.
Slow, bro.
It's
It's
great.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
good,
great.
though.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, man.
The staff is amazing. Like they make you feel at home.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
It's a good spot.
fucking coffee's good. I don't know. I have like I said, when it's kind of one of those, hey, you want to go grab some breakfast? That's what we do.
Okay. So we talked about all the good in San Angelo. What's the places that'll give you chorros?
Fuck yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Let's go.
I don't know about chorros. Let's not go chorros. Let's go. What's the place that was fucking that was talked great about and it was absolute garbage?
Denny's.
Denny's.
I'm just playing.
Shit,
I'm
man.
playing. Actually, Denny's goes hard at 2:30.
I know,
I'm actually hating on Denny's. I'm actually might end up going there in a little bit.
I don't blame you, but I would
Don't
rather
make
go
it.
to Denny's, and I'm gonna catch shit for this. Okay, and I'm gonna catch shit for this because now we got more followers, so it may get back to him.
Yeah.
Peasant Village.
Ouch. So yeah, I was there a week ago. I felt like I was in Dallas, you know, in a very nice, quaint place. I had to make a reservation, and I was like, okay, I'll make a reservation. When I got there were 6 people. I said, why did I have to make a reservation? And then anyways, when we got done eating, I got the bill, and it was $230. I was like, but it was just me. Well, I didn't have to, but then there was the bottle. The bottle was like $130, and then there was a bunch of other stuff. But you know, I get it. You know, the appetizer looked like a work of art. It was like a little swirl mark with some peas
That tastes like cardboard,
and
probably.
and some caviar, which I get it. But you know, you know, man, throw me a greasy pork chop on there, you know?
Yeah.
And I get it. I got what I asked for. But, you know, ultimately, you know, I've had some lavish dishes in my life. I really have. I've ate at Six Lux in Austin where, you know, you wipe your mouth, you throw your napkin, and then they fold it and they make it like a little
origami,
swan out of it. And then you go to the bathroom and drop deuce, and the guy sprays your hands and washes your hands. And I've been there.
Oh, yeah.
I've ate at some very nice places.
First time I did that, I was kind of weirded out. I was like, this dude's just...
Yeah, he sprayed a little spray of cologne on me.
Yeah.
We don't want
He's
you to smell
watching
like
you.
we don't want you to smell like ass, sir, as you walk into the crowd. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. A little Dolce Gabbana. But my thing is it's for San Angelo, I get it, but it was a little overrated. Yeah. I just have to say that. Like
I can't give him that. See, and I can't give that excuse for San Angelo. San Angelo's got a lot of good shit, right? I just hate the mediocrity. Because I'm like, when I went, dude, everybody was there. Everybody was sucking his dick. Like, oh my God, this is the best. I'm like, bitch, you're having the same thing I'm having.
Yeah.
I was like, did they forget to season mine? Because I don't understand what the fuck you're eating. You know, I'm sitting there looking at her plate, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is the most blandest shit I've ever had. And you're right. I've had good shit. You ever been at Eddie V's in Austin? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, dude! If you ever go to Austin, when you go back to Austin, the fucking steak at Eddie V's
next week
is absolutely insane. It's good.
Yeah.
Now we're not. Is it the best I've ever had?
Go to Terry Black's.
Huh?
Terry Black.
Fuck Terry Black. Huh?
Yeah, shit.
No.
You told me about the wharf, dog.
Listen. When we're talking
Terry.
about restaurants.
Really, Terry Black's?
Listen.
I don't know.
Have you been there?
I know. I gotta try it.
Okay, then you can't say fuck Terry Black's. You can't say fuck Terry Black's.
You gotta try it because listen, I'm a fatback, so we're gonna talk about Terry Black's. So I'm gonna say, have you ever ate at Chama Gaucha? That's like a Brazilian steakhouse, San Antonio.
Yes.
You know where they know they bring you say para or
hold your little flag
keep
up.
going. You know you got the coin, you toss it. But
is it a coin there?
In San Antonio,
okay.
It's a Brazilian steakhouse, and they just keep it going. What it reminded me of was National Lampoon's Part 1, the first movie, where they keep bringing the food, and the girl's button like pops off.
Oh,
and she shoots it. It's just like that, and it's just a feeding frenzy. And then you start feeling like Templeton on Charlotte's Web. You got corn dogs and popcorn.
Most Brazilian steakhouses are like that.
Beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes.
I love it.
Feeling like Templeton.
Man, I don't know why I'm gonna leave from here. And
Every fucking time.
I'm going to Denny's. I'm getting the Grand Slam.
There you go.
Judge me.
So you did say fuck Cherry Blacks, man, but dude, you gotta fucking try it. You can't.
I gotta try it.
So Fidencio Rhino said he was like, man,
you overhyped it.
I don't know, Abraham. I wasn't, and I was like, did you finish everything on your plate? He was like, well, yeah, I didn't leave nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was good.
I was like, well, what the fuck? I was like, this shit. It was amazing. It was like the best barbecue you're gonna get. You're not gonna get better barbecue than that unless you make it at your house. And actually, you might have problems competing still.
Okay.
It's that fucking good.
Like I said, I gotta try it.
Now you're talking about Eddie V's as just steak.
Steak.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's a little bit different.
Now there's
That's more of
another
a
place.
steakhouse.
Like I was sitting there watching this shoot or this food travel show, right?
Okay.
And there's a place in Seguin that I've been to that had the most bomb barbecue I have ever had. I was so flabbergasted, and it was on there. Okay, Terry Black's, according to this guy's review, placed 5th. This place in Seguin, placed 1st. And I'm like, fuck, I've had that. That shit was bomb. I literally.
Who's the guy?
I can't remember. It was
some guy from New York.
It wasn't even a girl. It was a lady.
Okay,
she's
even worse.
Yeah,
just kidding. Just kidding.
Oscar's going back to when we talked about the sheep and like.
It might be because I had it. Like it was this fucking hole in the wall, bro. It was.
Those are the best places.
Actually, you said hole in the wall. Yeah, it probably was the best.
You won me right there when you said hole in the wall.
It was fucking mind blowing. Now I'm not saying Terry Black's isn't good. I'm gonna try it once I'm there. Once I ever give it.
He still won't.
But
get
you
over
said
his
this other one's a
issues.
hole in the wall, though.
It's a hole in the wall.
That probably was the shit.
I thought it was. Yeah.
Every place that I've been was in the worst. Like they're in San Antonio. Me and April went to this fucked up neighborhood, and I was like, damn, well, hungry though. We're kind of on this side of town anyway, so we stopped at this restaurant.
Yeah,
it was fucking
bomb.
bomb.
Oh yeah,
and we were in like everybody lives outside their house over here. I don't get it. You know, yeah, it was like that. Yeah,
so don't has AC.
Yeah. But
Power Grid won't handle it.
Fucking food there was the shit. It wasn't like the food that like tourists come for. Like Tierra is great. I like Tierra. I mean, Tierra has good food, but this place blew that place away.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
Like it just. I'll try it. I'm not gonna say it. I'll take it back. I'll retract what I said.
Have you been back to Uchi's since we
Right.
heard last time?
I don't
You don't
want
wanna
to
ruin his
I don't want to
experience.
ruin it.
Have you ever heard of Uchi's?
Uchi Sushi in Austin.
No, to go check it out.
Have you ever heard of Ocean Prime?
Is that in Austin as well?
No, I think there's only 3 of them in the United States. We went to one in Chicago this last December, and Jesus Christ, like that's the most I've ever spent on food, and I felt great about it.
So my birthday is Cinco de Mayo, and I'm going to a place in San Antonio called Tacos and Tequila, and it's a concert.
Okay,
I actually have the ticket. It's Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's who's gonna be there, and let me see. I'm gonna show you the artist. Tell me if you know these: Little John, Genuine, Bone Thugs, Exhibit, all them guys, Young Jock. So they said they're gonna have some of the most bomb food there. I've never been there, but
I bet they will.
This is their second time this concert. But while we're talking about food, I'm like, I want to check this out.
Yeah.
I want to check it out. You know,
San Antonio has badass food.
Yeah.
they
that's
have
some good
authentic Mexican food.
Do
Very
you have
badass.
to get a fucking ticket?
What do you
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
to go. Yes. General admission's like $100.
Where is it at? What
It's in
venue?
San Antonio. It's right outside of San Antonio. It's one of those little like suburb cities.
food. Okay.
Tacos and tequila.
Okay.
But it's May 10th. It's on Saturday. I had some of the club owners ask me what my schedule is for May, and I'm gonna go out there and check it out. You know, because I said, you know what? Every for the last 4 years, I've had a DJ event right on the day before my birthday or the day after my birthday, and I'm just gonna throw it out there. It's been Central's prom, and for me, the reason I do it, it's over 900 to 1,000 kids, seniors, and when I'm playing the music, man, it's almost like a rave.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm like, put your hands up, and the crowd's crazy. I DJ for clubs, I DJ for quinces and weddings, and it's a crowd of 300, 200. But those are the biggest events I've ever done is when it's a high school graduation prom.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's massive.
Is that your favorite
especially
thing to
this one.
DJ at?
It really is. And, you know, people are like, oh, you know, you see all these different people and stuff, man, the staff and all that. Man, I'll be honest, I don't even look at the crowd. I pay attention to the music because it's high energy. These kids are nonstop. They don't
The energy is
want
there.
they don't want something that's gonna like slow them down, bog them down. Even the country music has to be upbeat.
Yeah.
You know, from the hip hop to the line dance to this
Hype.
to the music without no words. That's just like like
Yeah.
you're getting it,
Yeah.
and you got to bring it, and it's been
Well,
fun.
it's
Man.
a mood changer.
It's a mood
And It's
changer.
a big time mood changer.
Yeah.
Can you cover me on the 10th? I'm thinking to buy tickets.
Hey, you see it? You have it up?
Yeah, I have it.
Do you see that? It looks very
I'm-
fun.
yeah, general
So
admission.
so the very
May
first
10th?
time, first
I
time
can
they
cover
did it was last year, and they said it was a hit. And I know a couple of my friends, they're gonna try it
haven't
out
heard
this
of it.
year. And I've told them, let's
Yeah.
go tacos and tequila. Those
I've
are
heard
two
of it.
things I love. How can it go bad? I'm
Yeah.
like, I love
Put
tacos.
pussy in there.
I love tequila.
You got it's a party.
So
Sorry, my
listen.
bad. Edit
So
that
listen.
out.
While we're talking, while we're talking about tacos and tequila, let's talk politics.
All right.
Oh.
He's like excited for this.
We're gonna get into it now.
Listen, I'm gonna have to pour me a cup.
Let me.
Republican.
Listen,
There you go.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. I am not part of the radical left, and a lot of people may shame me for talking about politics, but you know what? I'm gonna speak my mind. So you know,
As you should.
As
So
you
you know, when Trump had his what was that event that we talked about?
State
State of the
Union.
Union.
The State of the Union address. He went in there with full memory of what he was talking about, you know, he was naming the parents, the women that got raped, the people that got died, the people that got deported, all the stuff that's been going on. And I commend him on that because, you know, it's not about just having the memory to be able to rattle off those names. It's honestly about just common sense. Listen, man, men should not be playing in women's sports. They shouldn't. Listen, you shouldn't go into a locker room and worry about your daughter seeing a guy with a certain body part. Like, listen, that shouldn't be happening. Yes, men are physically stronger than women. Women should be competing against women. Men should be competing against men. Then you also got, you know, the tampons and the bathrooms and, you know, the stuff that they were adding. You know, and then I think about like my own situation with my family where my mother-in-law is over here telling me, They're going to take away my Social Security. Those are things that are rumored that people hear. And listen, I know I'm not going to change some people's minds, but I'm going to tell you that common sense should be something that we should all have. And that's just the reality of it, because in the day and age we live, listen, I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I was baptized as a Catholic, but I'm a Christian, born again. There's a lot of things that the devil is doing in media, in music, in the everyday lives that we live, that everything is happening. And I'm not trying to go on a holy roll here, but I'm just trying to tell you, I'm just somebody that knows I need God. I can't do this by myself. And anytime I'm winning or I'm losing or whatever it is, it's all God's plan. God has it figured out. But God has also said we're living a spiritual battle. And I know our democracy and everything that's going on right now is at war. But, man, guys, take a step back and look at what's happening. You got that governor that flew all the way to El Salvador to fight for that person to get out, to come back to the U.S. Man, that's not right. If you didn't get into the country, and I have family that was born in Mexico. You know, I'm full Mexican. I have family that is in Mexico. I got a grandma. I got tias and tios that are in Mexico. But listen, they don't come over here. They know they can't. They know they don't want to try. It is what it is, and they're there. But they're not going to go over here and try to sneak people in and do stuff. And I get it. Some of us might have a tío or a cousin or somebody that's crossed over. That's their business. But ultimately, in the end, the stuff that's been happening in the U.S. has been out of control. We've had people from other countries that have done very, very bad things and gotten away with it, and I don't agree with that. I just don't.
Yeah. I mean, I think there should – I mean, I'll pay the other side because I'm not far left either, but then I'm not far right. I'm more centrist. Yeah. You know? I think there should be an easy way for citizenship. I don't think we should just hand it all out. You know, there's a point you got to regulate that, right? And people are like, we should just give it to everybody. And I'm like, well, no, that's not the case either, because if all our resources get taken up and handled up, there's nothing to give around. There's nothing to give out. Yep. You know, so yes, there is a point, because the only reason I'm saying that is because I'm Mexican too. I'm first generation. Both my parents were born in Mexico. You know, so they came over here trying to work it out, you know? Mm-hmm. And I mean, like my mom, this is the stance my mom has. You know, she's like, I came over here to have my kids here. I want to make sure they had a better life. Hey, man, who doesn't want that? You know? But then again, she's like, but I came over here and tried to do it. Now, granted, she didn't do it the right way, because when she came over, she was 15, 16 years old. Yeah. You know, so she didn't know what the right way was. She just knew, here, have my kids here. My kids will be better. It wasn't until later on in life she started, I want to say she didn't go far right or nothing like that, but she was upset at the fact that they were giving all these immigrants everything. She's like, well, what the fuck, you know? I came over here to make sure my kids were American citizens, and they don't qualify for shit.
And they're getting cards, they're getting hotels, they're getting all this.
She's like, wait a minute, man, why are we helping the fucking, you know, the people that came over? Now, my dad came over right, you know, or my grandfather set everything up for them to come over right. And still, it's like, all right, you came over right. You did everything we were supposed to, but yet there's a hindrance because you did it right. No, we can't help you. We got to help the ones that didn't do it right. You know, and that's where it's kind of led my shit in a certain way. And like my dad's biggest pet peeve, man, was these people that rolled around in their trucks, fucking Viva Mexico, or fucking their Mexican flag in the back window. When he's like, if it's so fucking great, what are you doing here? Go back.
I get that, yeah.
Go back. You know, I'm glad you're proud of where you came from, because you should be proud of where you came from.
You left it for a reason.
But you left it for a reason. You're here to level up.
Yeah.
And then, like these same motherfuckers that are crying about, you know, Mexico this, Mexico that, you know what I mean? Or walking around the streets, you know, walking around with the fucking, you know, Mexican flag or Mexico's flag. Hold on a second. What side are you representing here?
True. Mm-hmm.
You know, pick a fucking side already. If it's so fucking great, go over there. And we both know, because I've been there plenty of times. I've been there since the day I was born. I'd go twice, 3 times a year. It's all right. I'll tell everybody, it's not that fucking great.
But let me tell you what hurts the most is when you see your own people hurt you. And I say this because my mother was born in Mexico too. Mm-hmm. About 3 months ago, me and my daughter, I told her, hey, we're going to throw a barbecue this Sunday. let's go to Azteca. Let's get some meat. Okay, let's go, Dad. I take my 15-year-old daughter with me. We go to Azteca. I walk in there. Right when I'm walking into Azteca, there's a couple. I think they're like in a wheelchair. I think he was black, but they were in a wheelchair. He opens the door. I said, hey, thank you. We walk into there. I pull up my truck. I have a nice truck. I mean, it's decent. It's not loud. It's a Denali. But on the back of my truck, I have a $350 hitch. It's a BMW trailer hitch that drops. It's big.
Drop hitch.
It's chingon. But
It's got nutsack at the bottom.
Yeah, it's got a pair of balls hanging off of it, just to let you know. But it's a hitch. And I walk in there, and me and my daughter, we pick out all this meat and everything. As soon as we walk outside the door, that black guy runs up to me. They stole your hitch. They stole your hitch. I'm like, who? He goes, this truck pulled up. The guy got out of the truck, and he popped your hitch off, and he took it. And I look at my hitch, and I'm like, mother. Yeah. So I go back in the store, and I go, where's the manager? Where's the owner? I want to talk to him right now. And he goes, yeah, it's me. I said, I want your cameras. They just said they stole my hitch. I want to know. The guy goes, here, we'll pull it up. He takes me into this back room. He pulls up the camera. I see this truck pull up. They pull up right to my truck. They get out of the truck. They steal my hitch. There's about 5 guys in the truck. You can see it on the camera. I'm not judging, but you can tell they were all Mexicans. They were all workers. And the guy slows down the camera thing. And I tell the owner of Azteca, call the police. I'm going to make a police report. The police officer shows up, and I say, hey, these guys, they stole my hitch. They took it. There's a part of me that was upset because I'm like, man, these guys stole my hitch.
Yeah.
And I
It's
missed,
a violation.
And I missed them. I missed them by 30 seconds. Literally, the guy stole my hitch, and me and my daughter walk outside, and then everybody's screaming, hey, they stole your stuff.
Yeah.
But you feel violated.
You know,
like it's
Oh, yeah.
So the police officer shows up, and I tell him it is what it is, and he goes, it's probably some people from another country that stole your hitch, or they're not from Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it. In other words, he wants to say the other word. Starts with a W, ends with an S, and I'm like, yeah, we'll find out. That night I get home and I'm like, man, the guy stole my hitch, and I tell my family, and my daughter's like, Dad, what are you gonna do? I said, if those guys would have been stealing that as I was walking up to the truck, and I'm not trying to say I'm big and bad, I'm just saying there's 6 of them, 5 of them. I'm by myself. I'm with my daughter.
Oh.
I'm gonna make it even. There's something. There's something in my truck that'll make it even.
It's fucking the gun, right? The great equalizer.
But I'm just saying, you're stealing from me. You're robbing. Yep. And I had a little bit of animosity. I'm not gonna lie. I was very mad, very upset. I'm like, how's my people gonna steal from me? Because it was the last name had 4 last names. It was like De La Peña, Cruz, De La Monte. Like, it had 4 last names. You're Mexican. Okay.
Yeah.
It had dashes.
Yeah.
You're Mexican.
That's funny.
But you stole from me, man. I'm like, why? Why my people do me like this? I got 5 pounds of meat. Why are you doing this?
But if you talk to somebody on the left, they got excuses for days.
You know what I mean?
Like,
and I could have kept running with it and saying, this is what I'm talking about. This is the Biden administration. This is why I got robbed. Yeah. But it's not. In the end, man, listen, you just saw an easy target. I didn't put a lock on it. You got me. The police officer was like, we can do a report. We'll get the video cameras and all that. And then 3 days later, they followed up with me. They were like, where do you want to go with this? And I was like, man, honestly, I don't want to waste the energy. And it's not that I'm too good or any of that. I just said, I'm not going to waste the energy to go look for this guy, to go do that. If that's what he had to do to get it, man, fair enough. If that's what it took, you're out of my life. I won't ever see you again. We're never going to cross paths.
I just hope he at least got $100 for it.
No. I was a little bit bitter towards the whole thing, but I just said, you know what? Life is so short, man. You don't want to waste your energy chasing something. Remember, I got 30% battery life. So I just said I got other things to worry about, and I cut it off. But I thought about the administration. I thought about that stuff. And the reason I did is because when I dug further and further, the vehicle that robbed me, that pulled up and stole my hitch, it was under a company name. Well, man, the internet's a motherfucker. I get on there and I Google it. The company was from El Paso. The company that came from El Paso, it originated from Juarez. So when I started digging and digging, I almost felt like an undercover reporter. Digging. I found out it was a company from Mexico, and they did stucco and they did all kinds of stuff.
here on a
I
work
knew
visa,
for a
probably.
fact the more and more I dug, these guys weren't from here. And if I would have went to the address that was on file, man, I would have got whatever I would have got. But it just wasn't worth it. But where I'm going with all this is that's the day and age that we're in, that we're seeing, whether it's a petty crime or a major crime.
Yeah.
There's people losing lives. There's people losing hitches, whatever.
Hell,
Man,
catalytic converters.
It's, it's just bad. But ultimately, people, like you said, we don't have to choose left. We don't have to choose right. We just have to choose what is right
Exactly.
from wrong, man.
Yeah.
And that definitely wasn't right.
Yeah.
It's just, they say
yeah.
you don't want to be woke.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm awake.
It's a hard stance to take especially when you come to find out that most of the people you do get hate from, like let's say for me, for instance,
Why you hate
the people
me,
the people that hate over the shit that we do, that I do, are my own people. Like I'm not getting it from white people. I'm not getting it from black people or Asian.
La raza.
I'm getting it from my own people.
You voted for Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've been.
How can you
I've
call
said it
yourself
here
Mexican?
before. I voted for Trump, and I got friends that are fucking liberal, are way liberal, way on the left side. And you know what? I don't fault you for it, man.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, it's your opinion. Have it.
It's
You
your choice.
should have it. This is what makes this country great. You can have your opinion. I can have
Exactly
mine.
right. Do people don't get that?
Yeah, and somewhere in the
like,
middle, we
God
can
damn.
find we can find common ground.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had anybody that sat in that chair that 100% disagree with me.
No.
I haven't.
Right.
I haven't.
No, you're right.
Because I'm like, look, we can find common ground. Yeah, you may disagree with some of the shit that I say, but you're white, so I get to say some shit about my people.
They probably wouldn't be on What It Do if they didn't.
Yeah. Well, so even then, I mean,
Well, we've actually had people on that are totally on the opposite
side. Yeah,
completely
yeah.
opposite. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, man, is when we stop talking to each other, that's when the problems start to rise.
You got to communicate.
You have to communicate. We don't have to agree, but at some point, at some level, we can find common ground.
I just want to know, why is Tiffany so quiet back there though?
Because Tiffany's working the switchboard.
Like
She's
Yeah.
making sure the videos.
Tiff,
camera-
I gotta make sure the camera's
So
on you
are you
guys.
radical left or right?
I grew up and am a right.
Oh, whoa. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I think for the most part, man, no matter where you go, you're gonna find more people in the center.
Common sense. Common sense.
Common
Yeah,
sense.
so
I call the middle common sense.
Common sense. Yeah, I can see that because I mean, dude, like we've talked about it, with like Greg Abbott and shit like this. I don't know what the fuck is like. I don't understand the left, so I don't talk about the left. I'm like, y'all go fucking far out where.
No, Greg Abbott's like Professor X, bro. Like,
Is it okay?
Here's the thing, though, is like I'm gonna say this about myself: is I can agree
Control
with
things
some
with his
stuff
mind.
on the left. There's some stuff on the left
Oh,
that I'm like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, I can get with that. But then it's a problem when we cross this line with them, and it's like, okay, now you're getting too far. And the right fucking does it too. It's like, okay, we're good. I love this. You're talking great, and then they do.
you push it to the
It's
like,
limit.
Yeah.
Why did you have to go that
Yeah.
far?
Yeah.
Like,
It's almost-
what is the problem on both sides? It's like, man, we're good right here, but you just gotta go that extra.
It's
Like,
this fucking weird thing because I think they kind of they really glorify this shit, right? Because they'll come up with a policy and everybody's like, yeah, that's good, and they're like, yeah, y'all like that? Y'all like that? Well, then how about school vouchers? Y'all like that shit? And they're like, they get their praise and they're like, oh yeah, I fucking like it. I fucking love. Deport all the Mexicans. And I'm like,
Oh my god.
I was like, motherfucker, bro. I was like, yeah, IDs for everything.
Mexicans are rapists.
Where it's like you're stroking that ego, and they go so far to the point where they lose me.
They can't.
And I'm like,
They can't
reel
stop.
it back, bro.
Yeah,
reel
they
it
can't
back.
stop.
Reel it back. Like the shit they did in fucking Florida, right? It was, they were going great, and then all of a sudden it's like, if anybody hires Mexicans, we're gonna fucking come after all of y'all. Next thing you know, no one's building houses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But at the but my biggest pet peeve with all of that was whether it be on the left or the right, because this is the way I feel, right? And I may be completely wrong. Maybe somebody completely debunked this. The left gets upset because all the prices going up. You're okay with fucking paying somebody cheap labor as long as it's not you,
Yeah.
right? The right,
Till it hits the wallet.
exactly. Till it starts affecting you, then you got a problem with it.
How long does it take Mexicans to build a house?
Fuck.
Never mind. It's already built.
It's already built, yeah. Yeah, just like that. But that's the thing is that, like with this whole shit with these tariffs on China, right? I was like, no. All y'all, Trump's ruining the economy and stuff like that. No. Just like you didn't want to pay a fair wage. You didn't want to pay what those people are worth.
Yeah.
Right? So you're cool with cheap labor as long as you get to keep the cheap labor.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of fucking boutiques, San Angelo included, they'll get the shit off Temu, Alibaba, shit made in China, right? Now, I'm not trying to talk shit about Happy Trails. Happy Trails are going to do what they're going to do. I might have to edit this at 124, at 224, right? But when I sat there, when I was walking through the store, I couldn't help myself but look at me like, I bet this shit's made in some fucking foreign country, somewhere in Asia.
It usually
I
is.
go to look, it's not Patagonia, but it was another one, made in Indonesia, right? And the only reason I looked, because what the fuck, they're selling a shirt for a pair of pants for $95.
You know how much I paid for that Hobie kayak?
Oh, a lot, I imagine.
Fuck yeah.
But you know what's sad about
over
it?
$2,000.
Yeah,
and that was the low end.
Yeah,
A kayak?
yeah.
You be kayaking?
I used to. I actually
I
sold
like,
it.
I don't see you as a kayak person, but
He's
not
got-
a bad way.
He's out gangbanging on the kayak.
No, I love kayaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it a couple years ago. It's pretty fun.
Oh, it's fun.
You know what? I was going through this thing where I was.
You went through your kayak
I was changing my lifestyle. I was changing my lifestyle. I stopped going to the bars. I stopped going out and partying and just.
I haven't
I was like,
seen
you know
you
what?
there. I'm going to tell you right now. You're telling the truth.
I needed to change my lifestyle. So I was like, all right, I need to occupy my time with other things. And yeah, I got into kayaking and fishing and hunting and dude, and that gets super expensive, by the way. Hunting, fishing, all of that.
For sure. The gear,
The
camouflage. Yes.
it gets expensive.
He's out there in Sika.
Listen, no, but you start feeling bad.
You're not lying. You're not lying.
When you gear up and you're like dove hunting and you're like, man, this dove's not gonna do nothing to me. You know what I mean?
I mean, when you go out like that, when you start, because I've been around people, man, they're wearing $1,000 worth of gear, and I'm like, yo, this bird's just flying over.
Yeah.
All you got to come out with your fucking jeans and a shirt and shoot the motherfucker.
They suit up like commando.
Fuck yes, dude.
And listen, have you ever seen a grenade thrown at a bunch of pigeons? I have.
You have? Yeah. It's just so mind blowing. I'm like I'm sitting there. I hear these guys like these guys, right?
Let me just real quick, let's cut you off. I went hunting with some friends one time, and they took like 270 rifles. I didn't know what the shit that was. I was like, rifles, 270. I went out there with a Smith & Wesson and a Desert Eagle. It is frowned on to shoot at deer with Glocks and nines. It is way frowned on.
Have you ever done it?
I'm gonna have to write that down.
Hey, write this down. What time is it? Edit this.
Have you ever done it with a bow and arrow?
Is that frowned on too?
Fuck
No.
But it'll completely change. It'll change your life.
I think that's
It'll change.
badass with a bow and arrow. It gives them a chance. Like you got 3 seconds.
No.
Like,
No.
dodge the arrow.
It's deeper than that. Like, we were talking shit about like, oh, he's wearing this gear and he's wearing that gear. Goddamn, you need that gear because you have to be you have to be so close. No, because you have to mask your scent. You have to mask your sound.
Oh yeah.
You have to,
No cologne.
Oh, absolutely not.
You're not going out Dolce & Gabbana.
You have to pay attention to the wind. What direction is the wind blowing? Because you need to be the opposite direction, and that way your scent doesn't get to them. And then you got a bow and arrow. You're trying to fucking shoot this deer with a fucking bow and arrow. So you better be. Well, me and you've had this conversation before because we've had situations come up. But you better be ready for it because when the moment comes, can you control your heartbeat?
It's like Hunger Games.
Oh no, yeah, because when you draw back and you're like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Oh, when the shakes come.
The shakes come. It's called buck fever. It's real shit. Because you're so fucking excited, you've got to like calm yourself down.
I've seen tough grown men shake like fucking Bambis.
Yeah.
Really? To shoot an arrow.
To shoot a deer.
Yeah. It
Well, I'm
changes
just like,
the fucking game.
Bro, you all right?
It changes the game. and then there's a whole deal like when anybody can shoot a fucking deer with a gun. The damage that you do, the amount of meat that you lost, you kind of feel bad. Like, damn, this was shit. But when you do it with the bow and arrow, it feels way different.
It also changes you.
Listen,
Though.
while we're talking about
Absolutely.
deer, what is it about deer that like I drove to Del Rio. I had to DJ in Del Rio it's like 2 years ago. I actually have a video about it, but that's another podcast. But I DJ'd in Del Rio, and the deer looked like they wanted to jump in front of my car, and I was like
What time of year was it?
It was in the summer, but I could see their eyes flashing, and I'm flying by them, I'm going like 70, and I can see the deer like he's like taking a step forward, and I'm like,
he's like, what?
I'm like,
Testing
what is so
What's
bad
up,
in your
Curren-C?
life that you want to throw your life away while I'm driving. Like I'm not gonna steer away. Like I'm in a truck. I'm gonna keep going. I might actually give it more gas, but what is so bad in your life, little deer, that you want to jump in front of me?
Okay.
If you would have said that this was
Now that's Del Rio. Del Rio deer, they're hardcore. They don't go down.
Those are bigger deer, too.
I did have one jump in
They're
front of
bigger.
me. I clipped his ass like he
It's because
jumped.
they come from Mexico.
I hit him, done. And then like the San Angelo
hyped
deer,
up.
they know better. Like their eyes flash, they turn around.
So-
and that's like the country club
had you
deer.
said that
That's
this was
country
like
club deer.
November
Club
or
deer.
December, my answer would be they're in the middle of the rut, which is their mating season.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
They either get
you know,
ass,
you know,
they-
men.
Hey,
you
ass
know,
gas,
men.
ass gas or
They're
cash.
chasing.
I
They're
get it.
like, "There's a car coming. I don't give a fuck. I can get that." And they're gonna run out in front of
Yeah.
them. But you said summertime, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
I-
summertime.
I think I got this.
What's that?
Imagine you're in the side of the highway, right? Or fuck that.
Who's dirtier?
Who's dirty? Who's dirty? You're the high. Okay, you're sitting there. You don't know what to do, right? Because you see this fourth dimensional being in front of you. Because the deer has no fucking idea what two headlights
They're
are.
blind as fuck.
Yeah, they have no idea. I mean, literally, they're colorblind.
Yeah.
So as they're coming to you, they're like, "What the fuck is this? What's opening right in front of me?"
It's
Okay?
God.
It's God. Whatever it is, it might be. Like
Go
they're-
to the light.
like
That's
they're
so
deer,
bad.
right? So they're sitting there, see this thing coming. So they're like, fuck, okay. If I try to move, it's going to chase me because obviously it's turning while it's coming towards me.
Oh shit!
Right? They get close. So they see two headlights. I'll just get in the middle and I'll be fine.
Ooh.
That's
Middle lane.
You know, I'll get in the middle. They'll pass right by me. What the
makes-
fuck?
that
That's
makes some
crazy.
sense, though.
Because you got to think about from the mentality of a fucking deer.
yeah.
I have no idea what the fucking. I mean, how long do deer live? And what are the chances in their life that they see headlights?
You might get a good 8 years out of a deer.
Yeah. So just imagine you're out there just chilling. And this fucking fourth dimensional being is coming towards you. You're like, oh, fuck. I see him turning the way he's coming, or whatever. And I'm like, fuck. Oh, shit. Do I run?
Take me
What?
now.
Yeah. Because, I mean, yeah, you're stuck at a fucking, I mean, literally you're stuck because you're like, damn, what's this thing coming towards
Here's
me?
gateway to heaven.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
Literally.
damn, that's crazy. There's two of them coming. I'll just get in the middle of them. Not knowing it's a fucking vehicle and you're banging a fuccking Slim Thug, not knowing none of the wiser, you know what I mean? This guy, and you're wondering what the fuck attracted you to run right in the middle of the fucking road.
I don't get it.
Because it's a deer. It's a stupid,
Yeah.
I won't say it's a stupid animal, but it has no idea what this is.
They're stupid, but they're not.
They're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they run.
So,
Bam.
have you ever seen an axis deer?
I just want to pet.
Those are badass. I went to it was Ruidoso. I went to Ruidoso.
Oh,
yeah.
And there's access deer out there. I stayed at the Inn of the Mountain Gods. It was very nice.
That's a nice place.
Very lavish. Good restaurants.
Yes.
And,
Good restaurants, yeah.
And I went out there, but yeah, I saw access deer. They're a little bit different. They're more evolved. They got camouflage. They got white. Their antlers are way different.
Way different. Yeah.
They look like our deers, but on steroids.
Yeah.
They're taking like Trin.
Taking Trin.
A little bit of a test, but yeah, they're bulked up.
Yeah,
they're out there
yeah.
getting it.
If you ever get a chance to eat axis meat,
It's good.
it's fucking amazing.
Really?
Yeah, it blows whitetail away.
I even
Whitetail is great, but
It's-
axis is really good.
Man, fucking hunting. I'm getting ready already.
Man, see, I don't know where we're gonna go this year.
Listen,
I'm gonna go there.
after this podcast.
I just
after-
want to touch a deer.
Yeah,
Yeah?
let me tell you something. After this podcast, I want to drive 80 and hit a deer. I want to go eat at a nice restaurant.
But what you do it, be like, I am your God.
I want to sell cars, and I want to vote for the middle.
There you go. Go for the middle.
That's what it is.
That's what, dude, and that's what I'm looking forward to 2028, man. I'm like, who is on the fucking board?
No.
Because Trump's not going to be there no more. Biden, I mean, of course, he's like talking about.
He's half dead.
I hadn't seen any black people in Scranton. Did you see that fucking interview they did yesterday?
No.
I just remember seeing a fucking school of, it said colored kids. And I'm like,
my
Jesus
gosh.
Christ! Either get this. Somebody put this guy in a fucking bunker already.
Now while Oscar's talking about music, what is your go-to song that takes you back in the day? I'm talking about your junior high song. What takes you back?
Oh fuck!
What takes you back to 2000?
It ain't rap. I can tell you that.
Oh, to 2000. Oh,
I'm going 2000. Maybe
2000?
95.
That's
Maybe
different.
90.
That's
95.
not. Oh, 95.
95. Let's go 95.
Oh fuck! I don't even know what came out.
What's
in
the song?
95.
What's the song?
I remember.
That'd be Tupac 95.
Tupac. No, see, mine was
92, 93, I would say Bone.
Bone?
Bone.
So you're
creeping
going
on
with
creeping on a come up.
Thuggish Ruggish. You're
No,
going with creeping
on a come up.
Okay. East 99. East 99 didn't even come out
yeah,
yet.
not even
that
yet.
was the CD that came out with 7 songs, and it was a hit.
It was a hit.
It had
Every
7
song.
songs.
Every
I
song.
remember that because I went to junior high, and my cousin T-Bear would pick me up. He had hydraulics on his Monte Carlo, and we were jamming that CD, and it had 7 songs, and he played the shit out of it. And then I remember people were looking at his car when he was bouncing it. They were pointing, but they were pointing because his hydraulic fluid in his batteries, something caught on fire. Something caught on fire, and the car was on fire, and we're passing by listening to Creeping on the Come Up. And the only thing we were creeping on was an explosion. And that really, really happened, bro. That true
Did that
story.
ruin that for you?
Crazy.
Like, I'll never forget Bone Thugs and Harmony. But what is it for you, Oscar?
Man, I guess back in the day, because I don't even know when was Master P at his height.
That was 92.
That was like
90s,
Actually, that was 95.
95.
Yeah. You're
So-
talking about the Ice Cream Man.
Yes. So I was talking about Master P, and then I was listening to a lot of DJ Screw and Michael 5000.
The
DJ
Ice Cream
Screw,
Man probably would have been 93, 94.
DJ
Paul
Screw,
Wall,
yeah.
but it was all
DJ
slow.
Screw was definitely 95, 96.
Yeah.
You know, and that's back then. Honestly, there was records, and that's when Screw was really Screw. You know, you were slowing it down. But back then, there was cassette tapes that people were just slowing down and playing the music.
I call this crazy, but in '95, were you making music?
No,
Okay,
I was doing music in 2000, 2001.
Okay, because I can't remember where I was, man, but I think I was the first time I met you, and you handed me a fucking CD.
Yeah, and
I know that Sonic,
and,
bro.
I'll tell you
Cutthroat.
the CD. It was called Cock Down.
yes.
And it was a diss towards a record label called Lockdown. It had a picture of a lion, and it was me, J-Rock, Mike Shock, Arson, and you know, we went out for Easter Sunday and we dropped that CD. But the most coolest thing, and I'll never forget this, I kind of got a taste. You know, I never made it big. I never was famous with music, but we were doing it, man. I had some very, very talented rappers. But at that time, I remember the coolest thing for me was I went to Sunset Mall, and this is when the Sunset Mall was popping. This is when El Chico's was there. If anybody remembers this, there was a movie theater. This is when Sears was popping.
Gadzooks.
JCPenney, Gadzooks, all those places. The mall was jumping. It didn't look like today. It looks like a flea market. I told somebody the carnival looks like Sunset Mall. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It looks like Sunset Mall. And anybody that thinks I'm bashing the mall, go to Midland. Go to Odessa.
Oh, yeah.
Go to
definitely.
the mall, and you will see a night and
Big
day
difference.
difference.
Especially Midland.
On
Oh,
what the
yeah.
hell our mall is doing and what they're doing.
Yeah.
But whenever that was going on, I remember I was walking, I parked my car, and I was walking into the mall, and I remember a car passed by, and there was a guy that was leaning back. He was like he was in the back seat, but he was in the driver's seat, and he was listening to music. And he was listening.
Let me set the scene
He
here.
was listening. He was listening to Cock Down. He was listening to the album, and he was listening to the song called The Mob. And it was like The Mob. And every 4 beats, it was like The Mob, The Mob, The Mob is coming. And he was jamming it. And he passed by, and he gave me the ugliest look. Like he mad dogged me listening to my song. and he passed
funny.
by, and I looked at him and I was like, yo, you know, I was excited. I was like, that's my shit. Because there wasn't no MP3s. There wasn't nothing viral. There wasn't nothing.
Fuck
It
yeah.
was like if you didn't hand out CDs, your music wasn't getting out there.
Yeah.
True.
And even I remember when I went into the mall, there was Camelot and there was Hastings.
Fucking Camelot.
There was Camelot.
Damn.
Camelot music, bro. I
That's
remember that.
crazy.
And he passed by and he listened to it. And I was like, that's badass. And that guy has no idea that I was the one that produced that I
Yeah.
made that music. But, you know, that was back then. That was my go-to. Now,
When he drove off, you can hear that license plate rattling.
yeah. remember people would
You forgot to put sound mat in there?
remember
Fuck.
people would put padding so it didn't
Yes,
rattle as
fuck
bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
I hear
Okay. What is your
Dynamite. It was called Dynamite.
what is your most funny experience with speakers and a sound system that somebody had that you can remember growing up?
me at Sonic with 2 fucking 15 MTX. in
Road
my
Thunders.
Fuck yeah, man. Pulling up because I I gotta put what? Yeah, I was at Sonic. I pulled out bassing the fuck out of that thing, man. And then the manager came out. You got to turn that shit off. And I turned it up, and I fucking shattered my back windshield.
Did you really?
Fuck yeah. That was just,
wow.
boo. It's crazy because we got off right when we're still looking at it. You can see that bitch. That
Oh,
window
it was
flexing.
waving.
Blew
Yeah.
your black
And I
your back
fucking, yeah.
windshield? Wow.
It came down to, he told me to turn it down. I was like, fuck you. I turned it up. And
But you, Ham, what's your most crazy
very first
sound
time?
system story?
The very first time my rear view mirror fell. That I didn't know that could happen. You know what I mean? Like I realized it after that, but I'm just like not expecting it, and all of a sudden my fucking rear view mirror just comes right off the fucking. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't think anybody who had system had a fucking rear view
Didn't have
mirror.
because it'll come down.
rattle
It's
the
gonna
fuck
rattle
out.
the fuck. But
Yeah.
the very first time it happens, you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, it's badass. And you're like,
Like, hell yeah, shit was loud.
Mine was Jerry Diaz. I don't know if people know who that is.
The car salesman?
Diaz, yeah, well, he was a system guy. He used to hook up systems.
okay.
I had a Chrysler Shadow. It was a 1994
I
Chrysler
remember
Shadow.
those cars.
And he took my back seat out, and we put 215s, and they were kickers, 215s.
Chrysler
And,
Shadow.
and hey, I kept my rims clean. And, my tires were armor-alled. And he put 215s back there. And I remember people were like, that's badass. But whenever it was time to go places, people were like, can I go? There was nowhere to sit.
No,
There was
man, unless you're
two
gonna sit in there-
speakers.
sit on his lap.
So even though I had a Chrysler Shadow, I didn't even know it, but I really had a Corvette. It was a two-seater. You know what I mean? It was a two-seater. I've always
You
had
were manifesting,
I've always
bro.
had a two-seater since 1995. so you know what I mean. But yeah, that was one of my most recollections of growing up. Was just it was about who had the biggest speakers. Now it's about who has the fastest speakers. So a
DB
year
drag
ago,
racing.
I had 4 8s in my back seat underneath the second row of my truck. 4 8s, and it rocked.
Hell yeah.
It rocked. 4 8s. They're tiny. They're tiny.
I have 2 8s
They
in
look
my
like
truck.
they look like
Yeah.
door speakers, but they bang. It's
Fuck
about
yeah.
who can go the fastest and how much airspace.
It's called DB drag racing. That's what they do now in competitions.
The fuck? Really?
Yep.
What do you bang your system when you drag race?
No, yeah, in a way,
In a
yeah,
way.
yeah.
It's kind of banging system going to Denny's tonight.
Yeah.
I think it's time to upgrade, man. Because I'm like, I've been putting mine off because I'm like, I'm gonna wait.
I still can't get over 12s are my favorite all time speaker. 12s are they cover everything.
Tins for me.
You got
Tins.
you got 10s.
think
12s
tins.
are my favorite all time speaker though. 10s, you like
What
you like-
were the
so
best
10s are-
speakers in
10s are
your
that,
opinion?
that hard
What were the
punch.
best speakers ever made? Like,
JL
in your
Audio.
mind. Okay, JL Audio.
JL double
I hate. You know what? I down JL Audio only because I went to Sound Choice about 2 years ago, and I dropped $4,000, and they put these JL Audios. They put neon lights. I have the video. I can show you. Whenever the bass hits, the inside lit up. I was like, I'm a DJ. I want it to look like a club in my truck and all this stuff. And they were W3s or W6s, whatever the badass, the ones with the big magnets.
Yeah.
And that shit sounded like shit. Let me tell you,
Oh my God.
the ones that I had before were they were called. Come on now, they were. Man, I can't remember the name.
And back in the day, it was
Shame.
like Rockford Fosgate, either Lancers,
So I'll go further than that. So
Speakers.
you said
Orions.
So I would go Orions back in the day. I had Orions DVCs. They were dual voice coils when they first came
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Dual voice coils. You know, the
Yeah,
shit.
nobody had that.
Yeah, but these days, DDs, digital designs. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
those motherfuckers are amazing.
Oh, that's what it was. They were Sundowns. The
Sundown.
Sundowns are
the,
badass.
the Sundowns. I had 4 8s Sundowns 2 years ago with a Sundown amp, and that shit rocked. And I bought them from a black guy named Scooter, homeboy of mine, super chill. And those speakers banged.
Okay.
So when I went to Sound Choice and I dropped $4,000, I go, I used to have a system that banged because I sold my truck, and I go, and I want the best that you got. They hooked me up with JL Audio. I think they were W6s or W3s, whichever one's better. And the magnets were thick, and it sounded like shit. I was like,
yeah, they
You
did
know
a
what's funny?
shitty job.
You know what's
What are
funny
you
is
doing?
the 2 8s that I have in my Tundra
Are
are
they
fucking
JL Audio?
Sundowns.
oh, they bang.
They fucking bang.
I'm going to tell you right now, they bang.
Oh yeah, and I don't
Sundowns
even
are the
have
fun.
like a major amp on them. It's like a little Kenwood amp. But I was like, these motherfuckers do. I didn't want anything. I just wanted it to sound a little bit better, but it sounds way more than a little bit better.
And I had all. I mean, of course, I had Orions, Lancers. I had fucking
Lanzar.
That's Lanzar. MTX were good. I like that deep bass. But to me, man, the fucking jail audios were the best shit that I've ever. I was like, they were bomb.
Who came out with that stupid ass square speaker?
Kicker. Solarberry.
Solarberry. I couldn't stand that.
Did not work out for too long.
No, fuck.
Have you heard of Focal Audio?
Yep.
Their speakers are badass, but they do stupid shit like instead of 12s, they make 13s. Like nobody makes this fucking box, bro. Like you got to custom that fucking box.
Yeah. Like my brown truck's got 212 Kenwoods in it. Fucking.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I've seen
good.
those.
Sounds great.
I think when I first met Sergio, I had a Ford Ranger extended cab, and you couldn't sit the back extended cab. You couldn't sit in there anyway. It was too small. I had 412 Kenwood DBs in there. The fucking the goddamn cones were made out of Kevlar. You remember those? They were purple. They were like a purple motherfucker. Jesus Christ!
You want to hear the crazy part? Since
I had to replace that back window. I forgot about that. I broke the fucking back window, and I had to replace the fucking back window. I forgot about that.
What's crazy about all this, man, is that I don't remember ever paying for speakers.
I don't want to talk about how those were paid.
Exactly. I guess you were talking about back in the day when we had like the kids didn't have shit. You know, like I didn't grow up with shit.
This is before kids.
Kids.
Oh yeah. My daughter don't know about the system sound offs that I used to be in.
Yeah, like my dad was like, man, we had bikes, bro. We had bikes.
Okay, let me take it a step further. What was the music you would play with your system to show that it had bass?
Oh fuck.
That was the camera.
That's a good one.
Mine was DJ Laz,
DJ Magic Mike,
or DJ Magic Mike, or Nemesis.
Ooh, Nemesis.
Remember Nemesis munchies for your bass. Munchies for your bass.
Damn, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I took you way back. That's way
fuck,
back.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I couldn't tell you. I was handed fucking music for fucking days from my homeboys, man, and that's what I would bang.
My shit that I was banging didn't even have words. It would just be bass.
Just bass,
and it'd
that's
say
it.
like 5 different words, and that was it. But DJ Laz, Nemesis, all that stuff. 2 Live Crew, yeah.
Pop that pussy.
That was a banger.
Damn, that's crazy, man. Y'all taking me way back.
Love it.
Shit, dude. God damn, I mean, I kind of miss that, bro. I miss that because my kids. You're right. My kids will never
I'm
understand.
fixing to turn up my Bose speakers in my truck when I leave from here. And that's what I hate. I'm like, I turn it up at a red light, and I'm like, this is not what I'm used to.
That's funny.
And I think of the what commercial is it, like Progressive? We're not trying to turn you into your dad.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I think of the speakers, I think of the
crazy.
pest.
Like,
Wow, Kim, shots fired.
like I don't know how. Like, what your headset? What would your headset be?
My headset?
Yeah, I guess your radio, your actual radio.
Oh shit!
Dude,
Clarion.
Kenwood.
Oh fuck!
I
was Kenwood
shit.
Exelon all the time because I had the fucking Dolphins.
Why does the Dolphins?
I had the fucking Dolphins.
Do you
bro.
know how much those things are right now? If you can find one,
Oh, probably
thousands, dog.
What?
It's
worth money?
See,
yes.
The Clarion stereos were thousands.
I don't know about
the one that I
the
had.
Kenwood, the Kenwood Excelons with the Dolphins.
Yeah,
and shit.
and they only made one. So Pioneer made one too. They had Dolphins too, but it was more of like an actual.
Yeah.
It was more.
Do y'all remember the JVC one with the screen with the graphic controls?
Yes.
That was like, you were badass if you had the little digital screen.
Yes.
That was the badass.
And then you could take the faceplate off.
Oh yeah.
Put it in your pocket.
That's for that's for safety. Yeah, for sure.
I remember that shit.
Do you remember the Alpines where you could pull the whole fucking deck out?
All right. Well, while we're talking about,
God damn.
okay, real quick,
Take it around with you
before we end it. What is something that Gen X or this generation would never understand? What is something that we remember from our past that they would never remember? Like I could say ADATs or cassette tapes, because I remember I showed my son a cassette tape and he was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Listen, I used to have to listen to music all night on the radio. It was called Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
You have to be quiet. You have to wait for the song to come
I remember
on.
Quiet Storm because they used
And
to
then,
get a shout out from some chick.
then if that cassette would mess up, I'm gonna rewind it with a pencil.
Oh shit!
And I'm gonna tape it, and And I'm gonna get my song H-Town, knocking the boots.
Knocking the boots.
I'm gonna get Color Me Bad, CMB. You know what I mean? But we're not going there. But those are my music. Those are my go-to music.
Or the fucking voicemail. I want you to know. They're like, hey, you reached Oscar.
Oh man, let me tell you. While you're talking about Keith Sweat, I actually have a very, very bad memory of Keith Sweat. So I was dating this girl, and I didn't want to date her, and I was talking to this other girl. And I was in my car, and I'm driving down Sherwood Way, and you know what's crazy? It was right here. It was literally right here by this theater.
Okay.
And I'm driving in my Chrysler Shadow, the one with the system.
Yeah, with the clean wheels.
Yes, with the clean wheels. And this old couple cut me off, and they clipped my bumper. And right here, and this is a true story, right here by this theater, the curb is like elevated by like 5 feet. It's not a normal curb.
Yeah.
You can drive down Sherwood Way. It's like 4 feet, 5 feet in the air. They clipped my bumper, and my car hit that curb. My car exploded. Like my transmission broke off. My transmission was on Sherwood Way, and my car was almost in the theater. And I was listening to Keith Sweat, and the song I'll never forget was called "Twisted," and it was I know, and my car blew the hell up. And I remember that when it blew up, and we were on the side of the road, I told that girl, you better go.
You gotta go.
You better get on your two-way, and you better page somebody to come get you.
You've reached Sergio. I just fucked up my car. Leave your name and number after the talk. Get back to you.
My girlfriend's gonna kill you, so you gotta go.
That's fucking hilarious.
But yeah, my car exploded. It was a bad deal, and this right here, I actually I was traumatized when I pulled up here because I was getting flashbacks.
Yeah,
because I was thinking about my car with the clean wheels.
Every time you drive by there, you're like, fuck that place. Fuck that theater.
No,
I made her
true
walk.
Story. No, true story.
Shit, man, that's a good one. Man, yeah, I fucking love the reminiscing. I thought it was all good.
It's fun.
Sergio, thank you for coming on.
Man, thank you, bro. And it was a good time. And like I said, the next podcast, if we can, we'll have it in my studio. If not, I'll be back over here. But we'll catch up again.
Fucking we'll make something happen.
Yes,
and man, I'm looking forward to that fucking new intro.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
It's exciting.
So we'll do something.
Why not do it right there in the studio live?
That would be cool.
Fuck yeah.
That would be
That'll
cool.
work, man. Again, guys, thank you for listening. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify.
Do you got any plugs? Anybody can reach you or find you or look out for the billboard?
On the TikTok, it's DJ CURREN-C, a.k.a. the CARFATHER on Facebook. If you just type in the word the CARFATHER on anything, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, if you just type in the CARFATHER, you will find me. You will see this podcast. You can keep up with me and listen. It's not something that I just do, but it's something that you will need one day, sooner or later. Everybody drives a car. Everybody needs one. I'm just a connect. I'm just a plug. I'm just somebody that's going to make it a lot easier. No games, just keeping it real. I will hook you up. I will take care of you because that's what I'm here for. I just want to help you. That's it. Yeah. That's what it is.
You hear that? So if you walk out of your house and you look at your car, you're like, I want to.
Fuck that car.
It's time for some new wheels.
That car.
Because you got the CARFATHER.
Yes, sir.
Boom. There you go, guys. Thank you for listening. Take you next time.
What it do?
What it do, baby?
What it do?